All right. Why did you not record me while I was talking? All right, so welcome once more everyone to today's section. I'll do this again because he's just recording. So for people who are online as well, you're highly welcome to day 2 of this section on blockchain technology and decentralized finance. Okay, if you were here yesterday and you were online, okay, drop hi or yes or something to indicate that you were online yesterday, and I'd love to get a feedback on 1 or 2 persons. Probably that might be later on what you learned yesterday and what you hope to implement. So it's not just learning, but learning and implementing, which is very profound and the most important thing here. Okay, right about now we've taken a lot. Okay, how many of us have? Hope every one of us have registered. Hope we have all registered. Okay, that's very important to the section today. Registration in case there is
any for me any earpiece. Hey.
Online people, please do well to mute yourself so that you could get the very best from today's section. Are we cool? Okay, so amazing. So we have how many people online now? 3 persons online. Okay, so we have 3 persons. Hi, Miss A. Esther, you're welcome. Hi, Taiwo Ilori. Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Hello, okay. Good morning.
Hello, all right. So thank you very much for joining into today's section. So at least I've kept our online people on the hyper zone, right? So for us here, let's get to, maybe I would just get to meet only 2 persons because of time's sake, so that we move on to the next thing, try as much as possible. Okay, so I want to know a couple of us, like at least 2 to 3 persons. Can you introduce yourself to us so that we can kickstart this section? Are we cool with it? I will choose randomly because I know if I say stand up and share with us, most people have cold feet, especially because it's raining. Let me give you an excuse. All right, so I'll be choosing 3 random persons. Please, I'm not biased. I would actually choose randomly so that you can just tell me, introduce yourself. And if you were here yesterday, tell me 1 or 2 things that you learned from yesterday's section so that we could kickstart. Oh, somebody's rolling eyes. I love rolled eyes. Okay, so let's start with, okay, let's start. Tell us your name, tell us what you do, tell us what you learned from your section.
Thank you very much. My name is Oyoma Ujadono, and I am Oyoma Ujadono by name. I'm a student entrepreneur. Yesterday, we talked about. I'm a student entrepreneur. Yesterday, we talked about, we had introduction to blockchain. And then we looked at the meaning of blockchain and different types, category of blockchain and the types of blockchain. And then we also talked about cryptocurrency, specifically talking about the Ethereum. And then specifically what I learned from the fact of the last class the theta differentiate between Ethereum and EPTA. So EPTA is a native currency, and then Ethereum, which is the blockchain network. Thank you.
Yes, I'm fast. Can we give him a round of applause? I mean, please give him a round of applause. Okay. All right. So he has said a lot. In fact, I'm learning from his learning. Okay. So thank you very much. I think we had a section on Ethereum. We had a section on understanding what blockchain itself is, right? I think those were like the two major things that we did yesterday. And thanks to all our facilitators and people who were part of this, made this section a reality yesterday. So I'm going to get in the last person who is going to be telling us, you're going to practically introducing yourself and what you do and what you've learned from yesterday's section. Are we cool to go? We are cool to go, right? All right, so let me do this one, a lady.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Udosa Femi. I'm a student. Udosa Femi. Udosa. Okay. What I learned yesterday, because I came late, I didn't really get the blockchain session, but the part I learned was about the type of wallets, the code and the hard wallets, the difference between both of them. I didn't really know the difference, but I got to know the difference yesterday. And also, Ethereum as an asset. I'm a student. I do a lot of things, like I do some sales work sometimes. No.
All right, so thank you very much. Please, a round of resounding applause for Femi. I'm going to call her Femi. I don't know why. I think I'm cool with that. All right, thank you very much once more. For time's sake, we're going to be starting as soon as possible. Okay. So introduction. Do we have the FinSmart team here? Yes. Where's our boss? Can you give him a signal, please? Okay, so yesterday we had the yearly president give us a speech. I'd love to hear him again. Would you give us another one? No. All right. Okay, so we're going to be introducing the FinSmart team. Okay. Ellie. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're going to be introducing the FinSmart team, and to do this properly, I might not be in the best stand to give that. So I'll be welcoming the apostle of finance himself. Please join your hands together. Join your hands together as a welcome Mr. TUNMISE, aka Apostle.
All right, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I believe, hope you're not feeling cold. All right, great. So, FinSmart, as the name implies, financially smart. So it's a community that helps you to be financially smart, given that we live in a society where people just want to make money, but they don't have the financial knowledge. And of course, you make the money, but you lose it in a second because you don't know how to manage it. And that's why we have the FinSmart. In FinSmart, we run, there are several departments. You know, we do blockchain education, foreign exchange education, blockchain airdrop, blockchain for airdrops for persons who want to get airdrops from the crypto market and the likes. And basically, we do everything around financial intelligence. So you can always join us, follow us on our Twitter page and also on our Telegram page. We host sessions every Tuesday, every Wednesday, and we educate people on the financial markets, crypto, blockchain, and other areas. Thank you very much.
We want to do it. I should turn off all the AC so that we'll feel hot. All right, please, let's try as much as possible to appreciate people. It's not easy to stand here. It is not easy. I repeat, it is not easy, but anytime anyone comes out, please try as much as possible to encourage the person with a resounding applause. Thank you so much. All right, so right next, we are going to be introducing our very first speaker for today. He's going to be taking us on a brief section. Unfortunately, was not told his name. They didn't tell me his name, so I'm looking at him. Hopefully, he's going to tell us his name while I welcome him to the podium, right? Okay, so I welcome Mr. Dun, 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 dun. All right.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is OLAOLUWA, but preferably called Ablaze. And today, we just quickly want to look at something very important now in the blockchain industry, which is decentralized finance. So, okay, thank you very much. Let me test this. All right. Good morning once again, everybody. Now, my intention is that this will be a very interactive session. And I am a very practical person and I love to get straight to the point. And the point is this: the reason why we all are here is just to learn how to make money. And if you really go in depth in the knowledge of decentralized finance, trust me, you will make money from this. You will make serious money from this. So what will happen is this now. We will run through some of the definitions on the slides here now, then I'll go solo from there rather. So we'll just look at some things, then I'll do some very concrete explanations on them. Then I will do some practical sessions if possible, so we can see how to apply this knowledge. Now, the basic thing now, the objective of this session is that you at least leave here with an understanding of what decentralized finance is all about and how you can utilize decentralized finance properly to make money from it. So now, can I get to the... So we want to look at the topic now, exploring the concept, which is decentralized finance. Exploring the concept rather, which is called decentralized finance. Now, decentralized finance, in summary, is a whole new wave of technology that is trying to destabilize and recreate finance in a new dimension. From the word decentralized, who can actually just tell me what you understand by the word decentralized? For something to be decentralized. Decentralized is gotten from the word centralized. So can anybody try out? Let me give the mic to, okay.
From my own understanding, decentralized simply means it's not no central authority you have its, it has a large kind of expanse scope, and there's no central authority that controls or bound such a thing.
All right, thank you very much. Decentralized. That is, there is no central authority in charge of this body. Now, this begs the question, if there is no central authority, how then do you run these things? Very simple. We depend on each other and on smart contracts. Smart contract was taught yesterday. So now this is what smart contract, in fact, is one of the very important foundation. One of the very important things in decentralized finance. We'll be going to that. Please, can I get my slide? Can you just move to the next page? Which is, what is DeFi? What is DeFi? So now, what is decentralized finance? Like I said, we'll run through some definitions. I do some explanations, and we'll go straight to, if we have enough time, we'll do some practicals. What is decentralized finance? Now, this is a movement. Please, if you have your pen and your book, you can write. This is a movement that aims at making a new financial system that is open to everyone and does not require trusting intermediaries like banks, governments, etc. Now, to achieve this now, DeFi, which is the short form for the DE is decentralized and the FI is finance. DeFi relies heavily on the blockchain, not just the blockchain. It relies heavily on cryptography. TUNMISE spoke about cryptography yesterday, and it relies heavily also on smart contracts. Relies heavily on smart contracts. Now, smart contracts are the main building blocks of DeFi. What are some key attractions to DeFi? Number one is it eliminates the large fees that banks and other financial companies charges. Okay, before I go into this now, let's do a little bit of comparison now between decentralized finance and centralized finance. Most of you have heard of centralized finance before, or even if you've not heard the term centralized finance, you must have at least come in contact with one. Your bank is an example of a centralized finance. Why? Because there is a central authority in charge of this. The central bank, which is the central authority in charge of this now. Now, what happens now? First of all, one of the major disadvantages of centralization is the lack of trust, because you do not know what happens in the higher hierarchies. Now, in the central bank, they can just decide to, tweak one or two data, and that is it. We do not have access. It is not open source. We do not have access to see what happens. So this is one of the disadvantages of decentralized finance. Another disadvantage is the costs. Its costs in transacting. If you want to send money now, if you're sending like for GTB now, if you're trying to send about, let's say about 300,000 and above, they are charging you about 100 naira. Meanwhile, if you make some transactions on some particular blockchains, let's say like Cardano blockchain, on your near protocol, Algo, these transactions do not even cost up to, permit me to even say 50 kobo to make transactions. So now this is one of the things we are trying to attack now in decentralized finance. So now the purpose of decentralized finance is to totally revolutionize centralized finance, the traditional finance we see. Now this has been made possible in some aspects, which we'll be checking very soon. That has been made possible in some aspects we'll be checking very soon. So now from our slide now, some key attractions of DeFi for some people are: one, it eliminates the large fees that banks and other financial companies charge for using their services, which I just said. Number two is this: you can hold your money in a secure wallet and be in charge of it instead of keeping it in a bank. You can basically have access to your money, and you only have access to your money rather than keeping it in a bank. Now the third one now says anyone with an internet connection can use it without needing approval. This is very important. And also you can transfer funds in seconds and minutes. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like for today now, I decided to sell some USDT to somebody. And the person sent me the money. For more than 2 hours, the money did not reflect. Why? They said GTB is having some issues. So these are some of the things now that are wrong with centralized finance. So back to this one, anyone with an internet connection can use it without needing approval. I don't know if you can just help me open any decentralized exchange, just open any decentralized exchange. One thing about decentralized finance is this: you can easily access. You can easily access and you can see transactions. If I want to open, let's say, if I want to open Blockscan now and check the very first transaction that was done on the Ethereum blockchain, I can see it. I will see the same exact amount that was sent. I will see the wallet address that received that particular amount. So it is open source and it has a lot of peculiarities, a lot of things that you might want to look at. All right. Can you move this thing at the top? So understanding decentralized finance. What we want to do now is understanding decentralized finance. To understand decentralized finance and how it works, it helps to understand how centralized finance differs from decentralized finance. Now let's look at some things. Centralized finance. Now, on centralized finance now, I don't know how many persons are traders here. I think it will make it easy to understand. Like you've done a trade, let's say on Binance, KuCoin, UBI, FTX, any of these crypto centralized exchanges. Now it will be easy for you to flow with me and understand. Now in centralized finance, your money is held by banks. Now when we come into the crypto space now, speaking of, let's say, centralized exchanges like Binance, your money will be held by Binance, and whose overarching goal is to make money. The financial system is full of third parties who facilitates money movements between parties, with each one charging fees using their services. For example, say you purchase a gallon of milk using your credit card, the charges goes from the merchant to an acquiring bank, which forwards the card details to the credit card network. The network clears the charge and requests the payment from your bank. Your bank approves the charge and sends the approval to the network through the acquiring bank back to the merchant. Each entity in the chain receives payment for its services, generally because merchants must pay for your ability to use credit and debit cards. Secondly, we see all other financial transactions will cost you money. Loan applications can take days to be approved. You might not even be able to use a bank service if you're traveling. One of the reasons why decentralized finance and the blockchain as a whole is important is accessibility. As long as you have internet connection, anywhere you are in the world, you can easily access. As long as, let's assume now you're using a software wallet like your MetaMask, your Trust Wallet, etc. As long as you have your seed phrase, you can easily access not just your wallet, you can easily access any decentralized application or anything you want to access. So access now is one of the things that decentralized finance brings as well. Next slide, please. Okay, now, decentralized finance. Remember, I said decentralized finance depends heavily on smart contracts. Now, for those who were in the class, now who can just tell me what a smart contract is? If you remember what the speaker said about smart contracts, what a smart contract basically is. Nobody.
Good morning. It's a written code that independently performs transactions on behalf of the users.
like an agreement that's done digitally by written codes executing at certain dates and time. You see, in case of transferring funds to someone, when the times and the demands are met, the money is transferred.
Thank you very much. So a smart contract is basically the word contract now, an agreement. Now, this contract is actually being formed by coding your program. A smart contract is being programmed to perform a certain task. Now, it is a very, very simple, but yes, complex thing, because the smart contract is stored and is also uploaded on the blockchain to facilitate things. Now, we want to look at one of the things that the smart contracts really work well for, which is a liquidity pool. Now, the thing is this, everything might seem gibberish at first, but as we begin to get to the end of these things, it will now begin to shine more light on what we spoke at the beginning. Now, decentralized finance now. There are two things you must know about decentralized finance. There's something you must know about decentralized finance. When it comes to decentralized finance, remember we said it relies heavily on smart contracts. Now, what happens is this. In the traditional market, there is this certain kind of chain. You have somebody who wants to buy. You have somebody who wants to sell. And most of the times, you have somebody that acts as an intermediary. Now, when you come to decentralized finance now, it is just an interaction between you and the smart contracts. So basically, it is a peer-to-contract interaction. So what you are doing is this, regardless of whatever platform you are using, you can easily interact with the smart contracts there, and you will get what you want. Now, let's just take a look at liquidity pool. What is a liquidity pool? A liquidity pool is a pool of tokens in equal price proportions that are locked up in a smart contract. They are used to facilitate trading by providing liquidity and are extensively used by some decentralized exchange. Banco was the first protocol to introduce liquidity pools, but Uniswap made it popular. Now, what is a liquidity pool? Very simple. From the word pool, let's say we are having a substance in it, or let's assume it is a pool of funds. Liquidity pool. This is a pool of funds. You are having a pool of funds, about 2 funds. Let's say we're having this particular token and this particular token in a liquidity pool. They are logged in the liquidity pool, logged in a smart contract in the liquidity pool. Now, the question is this, why do we need this liquidity pool? Now, coming back to decentralized finance, remember we said it is an interaction between peer and the contract. Now, let's assume I want to get something now. Let's say I have dollars. I want to exchange my dollars for Naira. The next thing that comes to my mind is this. Let me go to Ring Road. All those abokis there. Give the aboki the dollar, it will give me Naira instantly. It will give me Naira instantly. So now, let's assume now this man can be seen as a liquidity pool. We'll get to explain some things on that liquidity pool as well. This man can be seen as a liquidity pool, more like a market maker, but I'm just saying like a liquidity pool. Now, what happens is this. When you want this particular token, but what you have is this other one. Let's say what you have is USD, but you want Naira because no market woman will collect USD from you. So you want to go and get Naira. The next thing that comes to your mind is this aboki, giving these dollars, is ready to give me Naira. Now let's look at some things now. Why do we need liquidity pool? Before we can talk about why liquidity pools are important, we need to talk about market makers. For those who have traded before, who have done futures trading, whatever form of trading, stocks trading, you might have come across the word market makers before. Market makers are essentially people that are ready to buy or sell a particular asset. They are ready to buy or sell a particular asset. Like the aboki man I spoke about now, is ready to buy or sell that particular asset, which is your USD, to give you Naira. Now, why are market makers really, really important? They provide liquidity to the markets. What does liquidity mean? Can anybody just try? Liquidity. Okay?
Liquidity are funds.
She said physical cash. Funds. In a way, liquidity now can simply be defined as the ease at which you can sell an asset. The ease at which you can sell an asset. If I go to an aboki man now and I give him dollar and he gives me naira immediately, it means, okay, this transaction is liquid because I can easily sell. And let me use this example now. Take, for instance, for somebody who is in real estate and you have a land to sell, it takes time. You want to sell today, but there is literally no buyer. It shows there is an illiquidity there. There is nobody ready to buy this particular product at this particular time. So a market maker is somebody now, an organization, a group of persons now that are ready to buy or sell at a particular that are ready to buy or sell at any time a particular asset. Now let's bring this into DeFi now. Market makers. Now let's bring it into DeFi. Now let's bring this into decentralized finance. Market makers usually you see them more on centralized finance. Let's look into decentralized finance now. Now, we realize that these market makers are actually entities. They are organizations. It can be a person, it can be a group of persons, an organization that they said, okay, we will take it upon us to buy this thing or to sell to you at this particular price. What they do is this: if there is a fixed price for this thing, let's assume dollars now is 450 naira. That is like the normal price. And you are coming to somebody who is a market maker. He might want to sell the dollar for you at 400 and let's say I said the dollar is 450. Since you are coming to buy dollar from him, since he is a market maker now, he will tell you, okay, let me buy this dollar from you. You are bringing the dollar to him. Let me make this more clever. Let me buy this dollar from you at 445. Somebody is coming now in need of dollar. He's telling the person, okay, let me sell this to you at 455. Almost similar to what you call arbitrage trading. So now these are what market makers do essentially. They make profits from these things because they are buying from you and are ready to sell to this person. They've made themselves available to buy and to sell. Another example is for those of you that have traded on Binance, this peer-to-peer trading. There's a part on peer-to-peer trading where they call it Express. You just go there, you select the amount you want to sell, and instantly there is a person that will attend to you, ready to buy at, they will now give you the price. That this is this person's price, this is ready to buy. If you don't want, you cancel. If you want, you go ahead with it. Something like that. Now, this is very, very important because, like I said, in decentralized finance, we are trying to make everything decentralized, give power to the people. There should be no central authority. How do we do this now? What happens is this. Rather than using the market maker mechanism now, we came up with something called an automated market maker. Automated now with the use of smart contracts, automated market makers. So now this automated market makers now is more like involves a liquidity pool where people, me and you ourselves, can decide that, okay, I want to lock up funds in this particular place to provide liquidity for transactions. Let's give this instance now. Let's assume each and every one of us here now, we have, let's say, about $100 USD and $100 of Naira. Each and every one of us here now. And there are people outside. They are ready to sell their Naira for dollars or sell their dollars for Naira. And we come together and we say, okay, what will happen is this. We want to form a liquidity pool. No particular person will be in charge of that money. It will be a smart contract. What will happen is this. We will put this money, $100 and whatever the equivalent of $100 is, we'll put it in a liquidity pool. You will provide liquidity, you provide liquidity, you provide liquidity. So once those people come now, it is easy for me to give, or for the smart contract to give. Now what happens is this: we will make benefits from it because there are some things we call trading fees. You will make benefits from these things, from trading fees. I don't know if this thing is clear. Let me read this, then I'll do more explanation on this. What are automated market makers? Automated market makers are a part of decentralized exchanges that were introduced to remove any intermediaries in the trading of crypto assets. You can think of AMM as a computer program that automates the process of providing liquidity. So these protocols are built using smart contracts, a computer code that executes itself, which is the smart contract, to mathematically define the price of the token, of the crypto token, and provide liquidity. In the AMM protocol, you do not need another trader to make a trade. Instead, you can trade with a smart contract. So trades are peer-to-peer contracts and not, trades are peer-to-contract and not peer-to-peer. So in an automated market maker now, anyone can be a liquidity provider if they meet the requirements stipulated in the smart contract. Now, back to liquidity now. If you want to be a liquidity provider, what happens is this: you basically need to provide. Now, there are different types of liquidity pools, but I just want to stick to the simple one, which is easy to understand, which is called the constant product automated market liquidity pool. What happens is this: you provide 2 tokens. Please permit me, I'll be speaking in tokens now. It's hard to begin to mention Naira. It has been long I mentioned Naira. So permit me to use crypto terms because this is a crypto meeting. So let's assume now, I want to use 2 simple tokens now that we can understand or relate with. We know Ethereum, true of us. We know USDT or USDC or USD whatever. Good. So now, let's assume now we have Ethereum. You want to be a liquidity provider to provide liquidity so that it will be easy for people to make swaps. I want to exchange this for this. What you do is simple. You get 50% of one token, 50% of another token. Let's assume we have Ethereum and USDT. What you are doing is basically you get $50, not necessarily $50, it can be more than that, but this is an analogy. $50 of Ethereum. Let's assume Ethereum is $1 and USDT is also $1. What you basically need to do is you get $50 of Ethereum and $50 of USDT. 2 of them together. This is what you are adding to the liquidity pool. You are adding this to the liquidity pool in equal proportion. Adding this to the liquidity pool in equal proportion. Now, if Ethereum is $2, what it means is you will be adding 50 USDT and 25 Ethereum. Now, it's not the size, it's the value that matters. So if Ethereum now is $3,000 and you want to add 1 Ethereum as liquidity, you have to get $3,000 worth of USDT. So you see, it's the value now that you are adding. 50% from this, 50% from this, you are adding it into the liquidity pool to provide liquidity. Now, anybody can be a liquidity provider, and it comes with its incentives because you will be rewarded. We will get to that. Now, let's assume now I want to add liquidity, and some other persons now are adding liquidity. I wish there was something I could just write on. We want to add liquidity. What happens is this. Can you give me whiteboard? Just use the laptop, please. What happens is this. Let's say now we've added liquidity to a liquidity pool. One thing you must know, okay, let me just continue. I'll say this later. We've added liquidity to a liquidity pool. Now, the amount of liquidity that we've added is this. Can I get the whiteboard? So we are saying we added about $50,000 worth of USDT. $50,000 worth of USDT, and we want to add $50,000 worth of Ethereum. Now, let us assume that Ethereum is $1. So it means we are giving these two in a 50-50 ratio. $50,000 of Ethereum, $50,000 of USDT together. Now, let's assume this is the total, oh boy, as well. Can we get chalkboard to do some demonstrations? No, I don't think I can just go solo like this. It will be hard to understand because we still have a mathematical equation coming up. It is not important, but it is necessary for understanding. So while we wait for that, I don't know if you, through the course of the lecture now, you've gotten something you want to just share with us. I would really appreciate you do that while we wait for the gen to come on. Say some few things. Anybody? Want to say something, sir? Nobody saying anything. You said?
It's like saying there's a contract for transaction. I want to sell somebody that is going to give me USDT. So instead of me knowing the person from Adam, let's have the smart contract for I don't just relate sell using the smart contract. When the person gets it, they like putting the deal
Well, thank you very much for that. Please, can we just give him a round of applause? So, let me just quickly do a run through, or can I continue? Let me do a run through. So, decentralized basic and decentralized finance, rather, basically, is a new technology that hopes to recreate the financial system for those who were not around when we started. So, what basically happens is this. We are trying to remove the central authority, decentralized. That is where the word comes from, decentralized. Remove the central authority. Now, when you remove the central authority, what happens is this: power belongs to the people. Now, an example of this, I think TUNMISE gave this yesterday. He said something about the NSAS. What happened was this: there was literally nobody that actually rose up and said, let's start this thing or so. This person just decided to start, this person decided to start, and before you know, the whole, what do you call it now? Huh? Listen. Protest, thank you very much. So, so the whole protest now was like, what I'm trying to say is there was no actual leader that you can say, okay, this is the person leading us. It was as if power was just with the people themselves. So people were making contributions, your contribution, your contribution. So there is no central authority. This is what decentralized finance is here to do, to remove the central authority and to bring ease in the financial markets. They've done this now in terms of lending and borrowing. We'll touch that. They've done this in terms of exchanging currencies. Now, they've done this in terms of many other things as well, in insurance, etc. We will touch all these things. So now, basically now, like I said, decentralized finance relies heavily on smart contracts. So in decentralized finance, it is more, an interaction between you and a smart contract, between you and a smart contract. Now I don't even have any business dealing with this person. If I want to buy something or I want to sell something, I interact with the smart contract. If you want to buy or sell, interact with the smart contract. So the smart contract now is now, permit me to say, standing as the central authority. But this will now beg the question now, can we actually trust this smart contract? Can the smart contract not get too smart and, just disappear with our money? Is there a possibility now that some of these things can happen? Yes, there is a risk in all these things. And there is nothing good and sweet that happens that does not have a risk. I don't know if you can come up, sir, and just, if you don't want to, no problem, sir. Trading with the smart contract, is it different from P2P? Yes, it is. Yes.
Is that the people provide funds, assets into the pool called liquidity pool, to make the transfer easier. Where actually, when you are to place a trade, you have to buy a coin or anything using a smart contract and a decentralized exchange, you are not paying to anybody. You don't have it in mind that someone is going to pay to you, because the funds is already stored there. It's just for you to make your own transaction, interact with the contract. The contract gives you immediately what you request for and what you're trying to buy. It's not actually that, it's not like peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer is, there's a delay in that, because if I want to use something, I want to buy a coin or anything, I pay to the person have to confirm the transaction, then send it to me. In decentralized finance, is actually you're interacting with the contract and the contract releases it to you because it's quite fast. Contract is smart. So definitely it gets notification on time and know that, okay, especially I've done this, it traces it to the hash of the blockchain and it releases your coin immediately. So I believe that is all about smart contract. Interacting with the contract and not with a person. Already in the contract, the funds was deposited there by a person. I don't know if it's correct though, but I believe that is what it means. Right.
The question raised by, I don't know, the question she raised, peer-to-peer, I think is two faceted. The one that we're saying from our contact to contact, that is from our wallet address to wallet address, and the one that we perform through P2P, like funding in our decentralized exchanges, centralization like Binance. Like in the case of Binance, we talk about liquidity pool. Sorry, let me explain something about liquidity pool. Liquidity pool is essentially the ease of carrying out transaction. If there is, like now we have crude oil. Crude oil is everywhere. The market is everywhere. You can easily get crude oil because people that want to sell are there and people that want to buy are there. So there is a liquidity for that particular goods. But in the case of land, sometimes you might just put up land for sale for like 2 months. Nobody has questioned. Say, bro, how much are you selling your land? There's no good liquidity for that market. So basically, liquidity pool or liquidity itself is the ease of transacting business the ease of exchanging goods and services for a particular market. All right. Then this P2P through Binance is kind of connected to the liquidity pool because the system automatically does the transaction. So it's not like you are sending it to the person. The USDT that you want to buy is already in the system. It just wants you to interact. Okay, I want to buy this thing. Somebody link somebody up, but in that case, You're not sending it to the person's wallet. It's the system, the smart contract that is sending the coin or the token to you, not the person you are meshed with. Thank you very much.
In terms of liquidity pool, I think the best illustration I should give should be this. A pool, a well. Let's assume this is the well. Me and Ablaze has this, I have the cup. Or let's say I have two of them. I think that's a better way to explain it. I put this cup in the pool. I put this in the pool. I'm creating simply something like a funding reserve. I'm making this pool available to the public. I'm saying, see, if you have this and you want a cup, come to this pool, drop this that you have into the pool and take the cup. I don't know if you get that. Now, when we are talking about liquidity pool, it's necessary for us to step back a bit. And if we are really going to step back a bit, we need to go to exchanges. The difference here, when you talk liquidity pool, it's majorly streamlined to decentralized exchange, and not just decentralized exchange, but liquidity decentralized exchange. When you talk about decentralized exchange, there are two types. You have the order book, which is similar to what we have in Binance, in which case you log in, you can see your sell order, your buy order, and all. And then we now have the liquidity pool part, which is this one that we are talking about majorly. But it so happens that in the decentralized exchange ecosystem, the one that is much more popular will be your liquidity decentralized exchange. Why? Because of farming. I don't know if you'll be touching that much later on, but that's one of a very amazing way to also make money. Now, he mentioned risks. And then the way we mitigate risk is this. For those of you that are class in the house, you know what we call open source. We write a code and then we put it out there. Not only do we put it out there, we ensure that this thing undergoes what we call an audit. It is audited by well-known companies, and these companies write a report. They search for bugs. They see, is there a leak somewhere? Is there any chance that someone will exploit this? Now, irrespective of that, wise DEXs will always put out what we call a bounty program. They tell ethical hackers in the house, come in, we've built a product, come in, give it your best shot. We've done everything possible. Try to exploit this DEX. Try to scatter everything we've done. And then if you're able to do it, we'll give you so amount of money. A few days ago, a guy on Twitter made mention of the fact that there is a bug on OpenSea. Yeah. He contacted OpenSea and he was like, see, I've seen a bug in OpenSea and it can easily be exploited. What can you do about it? OpenSea said, I'll give you 25,000 USD for you to show us the bug. The man looked at them and said, what is 25,000 USD? What? For him, it's not much, but give it to me. Give it to me. But unfortunately, I do not have that expertise. I don't have the expertise. I don't know how long it took for him to develop that expertise. So usually when persons place a bid on their expertise, sometimes they respect it because it took them years to build this. You get, and then the man was like, 25,000 US dollars is nothing for me. But irrespective of that, I'm not going to give it to you. The only thing is I'm going to decline your offer. Whoever finds it and exploits it, good luck to them. OpenSea came up and they were like, no, something needs to be done. And the man was like, okay, if something needs to be done, I think he made mention of a particular girl institution and he was like, OpenSea should sponsor them. That was his price. He did not need the money for anything. He doesn't need the money for anything. That was his price. And all of this was happening on Twitter as it was happening. He was updating us and everything. So for wise guys, they will always put up that bug bounty program. It's necessary. Wormhole, how much did Wormhole lose? 620. They lost it, it disappeared. So, and this tiny man, before they upgraded to version 2, they also lost their own huge amount of money. So these things it's rampant, but how do we mitigate the risk? Number one, open source. Number two, bug bounty. Yeah, thank you very much.
Then I think tokens and coins they go up and down, up and down. So if at that moment I want to exchange a remove for a cap, the prices will not really are not the same.
It will be there's a mathematical equation for that.
All right, I think we'll have to touch that. Now, if you have a pen and a Bible, just write this down. X times Y equals to product. So now this is one of the reasons I wanted them to bring the light so we can at least do some things.
Bluetooth
X times Y equals to product. Now that product is constant. The product is constant. Now X can be one particular token, Y can be another particular token. Now, this is the formula for your constant product automated market maker now. Now, X, like I said, can be for one particular token. What we are trying to do now is we want to look at how price is being determined in the liquidity pool. X for one token, Y for another token. Now, still with your Bible and pen now, let's assume we have $50,000 of USDT. X is equals to $50,000 of USDT. Y is equals to $50,000 of, let's say, Ethereum. So in that equation now, we'll be having 50,000 times 50,000. So what will be our product now? 5,000, 5,000, 25 with 6 zeros. That should be about 25 million. I'm correct. So now it means our product now is 25 million. Now, liquidity providers have gathered together, and what they were able to raise now is 25 million. Sorry, 50,000 of USDT, 50,000 of US Ethereum. So now, because of that formula, now we multiply that of USDT 50,000 times that of Ethereum 50,000, which is giving us about 25 million. 25 million, not dollars, or like 25 million, just like so something like a numerical value. Now what happens is this. Remember, we said X is USDT, Y is Ethereum. Liquidity providers have provided that already. That one is locked, and it is only accessible to those that want to make swaps. So now, if I come now, let's say I come to any, can you just open Chrome and just show us any decentralized exchange, maybe Uniswap, Paraswap. If I come now and I come to this exchange and I say, okay, I want to swap UST. I have USDT. I have about 1,000 USDT, but I want to use it to buy Ethereum. What happens is this. All these things are being done in minutes, but this is like a slow motion of what happens. Your $1,000 is taken and is added to that $1,000. Sorry, to that $50,000 that is in that liquidity pool. So now, how much are you having in that liquidity pool for USDT? 51. And in that pool, you are having 50,000 of Ethereum. You're having 51 of USDT. You're having 50,000 of Ethereum. Okay, Uniswap now. Just open the swap page. So Ethereum, USDT, just select a token, just select USDT or USDT. Now what happens is this. In that pool now, since you want to swap 1,000 USDT, it will take your 1,000 USDT and it will add it to the USDT in the liquidity pool. Now we are having 51,000 USDT in that liquidity pool. And what happens now is this. In Ethereum, they've not given you your Ethereum yet. Remember, these transactions happen in seconds, but this is like me breaking it down now. In that liquidity pool, you're having 51,000 USDT and you're having 50,000 Ethereum. Now, the rule is that X times Y must be equals to a constant product. Now, because our constant there was 25 million, what happens is this. Two things happens. The first thing is the number of Ethereum you will be getting will be determined, and the price now of Ethereum after you've made that transaction will also be determined. Let's look at this. The analogy we are using now is Ethereum is $1. USDT is also $1. Don't forget that. So now, the next thing that happens is this. What we have now is this. 51,000 times 50,000 equals to 25 million. So now we want to get how much are we going to be removing from Ethereum to give to this person. He has given us $1,000 already. Now we want to know how many Ethereum we will give to this guy. So what happens is this now. You will divide 25 million by the USDT, 51,000. Somebody should do that for us. 25 million by 51,000. $490. That's 49,490. Okay, 490. Okay, 490. 25 million divided by 51,000. Okay, 490.19. So 490.19. So that's 490 is the number of Ethereum tokens we will be giving to this person. Now look at it now. It's looking strange. This person is giving $1,000 and we are giving him 490 of. Please calculate that thing very well again. Just try it again. Let me be sure. 490. Okay, great. So it means this person has given $1,000. What we are giving to this person now is 490. What happens now is this. That's 490 that you've gotten now. Subtract it. It can't be 490. Oh, sorry. 2.5. I was like 490. No. That's 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion, not million. Should give you something around 49,000 something. So please, what's the correct math now? 49,019, correct. 49,019. So what this mathematical equation is telling us now is that at the end of this transaction, we should be having 49,019 tokens in that liquidity pool because you've received 1,000 already. So what happens is this now, you will subtract 50,000. 50,000 minus that's 49,019. The 50,000 is the initial Ethereum quantity there. Subtract it from 4,019. So you're having 980. So it means this person has given us 1,000 USDT. What we'll have to give to him is 980 Ethereum. 980 Ethereum. I'm coming. It's not sounding reasonable. Why will I give 1,000 and get 980? This is as a result of slippage, but we'll get to that. So now, this person, we are giving him 980. So you put in your $1,000, just like on this place now. Once you just connect wallet, confirm, and you click on swap, it goes immediately. But this is what happens underneath. So you will get 980 Ethereum. And for some persons, they will be wondering, what's it up now? Uniswap, don't cheat me. Sorry? Yes, 980. But remember, we said Ethereum is $1. Like we are assuming Ethereum is $1. And 980 units is still this. As long as it's $1, it will still be 980 Ethereum. So 980 Ethereum is what this person is getting. This person will be getting 980 Ethereum. So now in the liquidity pool, what happens is this. What we now have is 51,000 USDT and how many Ethereum? 49,019. It would have been easier to just explain this thing with a board so you see this thing. 49,019 will be left in that for Ethereum. This is just so it follows that formula X times Y equals to products. If you multiply 51,000 by 49,019, it will still give you that constant product, which is 25 billion. So this is the mathematics that is behind this now. So now what happens is this. How do we now then determine the price of Ethereum in this pool now? Very simple. The initial quantity, am I too fast? The initial quantity was what? 50,000. Now what we are having is what? 49,019. You will divide 50,000 by 49,019. That should give you 1 point something. So now you see the price of Ethereum has increased a bit because we are having less Ethereum in that pool and more USDT in that pool. Now, this is an opportunity for those who are arbitrage traders. Once you notice this opportunity like this, like we did some days ago, I was with TUNMISE and we're using Zerion. And we noticed this opportunity in the liquidity pool. You could use 177 US dollars to buy BNB worth of 187. That is a $10 gain. Now, why is this happening? It is because the USDT in that liquidity pool is now more than the BNB. So, are you with me? Some people are just saying it's not clear. Let me scrap that example then. So, but for arbitrage traders in the building, this is a huge opportunity. This is something you can leverage on. Using 177 USDT now to buy BNB worth $187. Now, imagine you're having about 1.7 million and you decided to quickly use that opportunity. You would have made nothing less than, I think, about $10,000 if my maths is correct. So this is what most of these big time arbitrage traders do. Because once you buy that BNB now, the price will be different from that on the exchange. So you just quickly send to an exchange, you sell. So this is what some arbitrage traders do. So this is an opportunity for arbitrage traders. Now, back to what I was saying. In the liquidity pool, we have 51,000 now. Okay. Okay, it's large. Okay, let's assume we have what example can I use now? Let's say we have 10 orange and no, that one is actually it will be simpler to understand. 10 orange, okay?
When it comes to things that it has to be in number. So, but you cannot, I get everything right from what you said. You can't, if you had a cap and you might go, I want to explain the cap for like before. But you may not necessarily get it unless you say, this cap is 10 minutes and the microphone is 5 minutes, that's 5. Then you now say, listen, from the mathematics, whatever happens to the people doesn't matter, it's the end product that matters. So it has to be 9. Whatever you subtract or whatever you add, it still has to be 9. So you now say, what fraction of the cap am I removing, or what fraction of the microphone will I be getting? So it has to be a number.
Okay. If we say we want to use smaller numbers, let's assume we're using 1,000 USDT and this, it will make, okay, let me just go. 1,000 USDT and 1,000 Ethereum. Now, the total will be 10,000. That is the product. So now, what happens is this. If you decide to trade 1 million, okay, sorry, 1 million. So now if somebody decides to buy, let's say $50 worth of Ethereum. So the person is giving 50 USDT to buy Ethereum. What happens is this, that 50 USDT is added to the USDT in the pool. So we're having 1,050. Then the next thing now is we'll determine how many Ethereum we're giving this person. So what will happen is you will divide your product you use your products to divide that amount of USDT. The person gave USDT, so USDT has gone up now, like the amount of USDT has gone up. So you will now say 100,000 divided by 1,050. So it will give you a particular 1 million divided by 1,050, which will give you a particular 952. So it means at the end of that transaction, for that product to be balanced, there must be 952 Ethereum in that liquidity pool. So the next thing is this. There was this thing. There was 1,000 Ethereum there. But the formula is saying at the end, we must have 952. So it means 1,000 minus 952 now means we are having just 48 Ethereum to give to this guy. So it means at the end of that transaction now, we are giving this guy 48 Ethereum. Now, why is this so? Why is it not 50 Ethereum? Now, this is what leads us into slippage. Slippage has to do with, it depends mostly on the size of the liquidity pool. When you have more pools, more tokens now in that pool, the slippage is reduced because, how do I explain this now? Okay, let's just do it like this. Are you listening? What happens is this: when you're having more liquidity and somebody is trying to buy a particular amount, and even we were using 50,000 USDT and US Ethereum, what happens is this: when you buy $50, that transaction does not necessarily shake the liquidity pool. But when you come in, especially when the liquidity pool is small, and you come in, you want to buy something massive, it shakes the liquidity pool. So thereby, in order not to just lose all the funds in that liquidity pool, because once you buy, for every buy, they call it, for every bid you make now of a particular product, if you are buying, like you are trying to take this product out of the liquidity pool, the price begins to increase because it is reducing in value. So now this is just what the price increases now. So you cannot get this one at a 1:1 again because people are like buying this. So as the supply is reducing now, as the supply is reducing and the demand is increasing, the price will definitely begin to increase. So if the thing was at a 1:1 value before, and now this one is getting bought, this one is depleting, the value of this one will begin to drop, while the value of this one that is depleting will begin to rise. So now, the size of the liquidity pool matters. A very typical example is for those of you that have bought the things we call shitcoin before. Shitcoin. Once you go to buy shitcoin, they will tell you, you will try to buy. You will see slippage. You will use like maybe a 1% slippage. The transaction will not go. 2% slippage. Transaction will not go. There was one I even had to increase to 20. Just go now. I'm going to buy this thing before it will pump. It will still go. Why? The liquidity in that pool is not much because people will put liquidity in a pool if they feel, okay, people will buy and sell this token. I will want to be a liquidity provider and put liquidity in a pool when I feel that, okay, I think people will buy or sell. They will trade this particular token pair. So when nobody sees the prospect in this particular thing, and the only liquidity there is the liquidity provided by the owners of the protocol themselves now, and people begin to trade, and somebody is trying to make a massive buy, it will shake that liquidity pool. So I don't know if you understand now. So now, this formula now is for constant product automated market maker. This is like the simplest liquidity pool you will find. Uniswap uses this. Other decentralized exchange, this is Uniswap for those who do not know Uniswap. Other decentralized exchanges now, they use this as well. There are other complicated liquidity pools, but I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that because, no, feel free.
Okay, like you're saying just now, that memory of when I'm coming and I want to buy like 75% off, with the 1,000 or
Okay.
I deceive you high or low.
If you want to buy 75%, what will happen is this: the slippage will be very high, very high. Slippage has to do with a sudden increase, like the rate at which this price can increase or decrease. If you come now and you want to buy 75% of that pool, okay, like the price will just, there's a way you have to increase the slippage, because one thing about buying is this: once you place that order now, it begins to calculate. Now, if it discovers that, okay, this price will move up to, will decrease up to minus 20% once you make this sale, it will ask you to increase your slippage, because definitely you will make some losses. If you're expecting in a 1-to-1 ratio, you will not get in a 1-to-1 ratio. You might get in a 1-to-0.5 ratio or even less, because you are trying to buy. In fact, you want to drastically decrease, because you are trying to, that's the price of what you are putting in now, will practically decrease, because you are trying to remove something forcefully from the liquidity pool. So I don't know if you get. She's laughing. Yeah.
If I am providing something that will take, let's say, 5% of Ethereum from the pool,
yeah,
it means that my, let's say USDT I'm providing now,
yeah,
the value of those USDT no longer be USDT, means that I will be losing it.
The increase in slippage, it's definitely not to your favor. You know, the favor you. Sorry?
Okay, I said considering a project that's about launching, you know, most times the devs will tell you to actually increase slippage because the person are buying, so that you can actually buy. So, okay, I said considering a project that's about launching after pre-sale and all that. Now, most times the devs will actually tell you to increase slippage so that you can buy, because they expect that there'll be a lot of buys at that time, so you can get in and get good amount and all that. So, can you relate that to actually what you're saying right now?
Yeah, definitely. If somebody wants you to buy their token, the thing is this: they will tell you to do anything just to buy their token. In a liquidity pool, the first liquidity that should be added to that pool should be by whatever protocol. Let's say I come up today now and I want to create a decentralized exchange, my own, and I call it in Ablaze protocol. And I want, okay, and I launch my token, Ablaze token, and I want people to begin to trade my token on, let's say, on my exchange now. In that liquidity pool now, what happens is this: I will get a Ablaze token and the token I want people to trade with. One of the very popular tokens is USDT. Like, people want to quickly cash out, cash in, cash out. So I will say Ablaze token, USDT. Put an equal amount of these two. So I am the first liquidity provider. Now, I cannot, sometimes it depends on the capability of these protocols, because it is the liquidity that you are adding that will determine the initial amount of that particular token, your particular token in that pool.
So now they can but only add a particular amount. Some of these protocols are just starting. Some can raise millions in funds, some thousands. So they add these particular tokens. So they will tell you, go and buy. If the liquidity pool is small, definitely you should be expecting that you would create, like you would increase your slippage. For most of these shit coins, this is what they do. They provide very low liquidity. They will now whine you and say, go and add liquidity first. You will have liquidity. People will begin to make swap. And one day you will wake up, the initial liquidity that they added, they removed it, they've gone. Because once you begin to add liquidity and liquidity begins to increase, the price of those assets too begins to increase. So once they move their liquidity now, because they are the major contributors of this liquidity, the price will drop drastically. So that is why it is important that before you invest in any coin or anything, go and check for how long are these guys' liquidity locked. Some persons will tell you outrightly, we provided liquidity on Uniswap, on ApeSwap, whatever swap, and it will be locked for 6 years, 1 year, 2 years. So you have an assurance that, okay, I can still continue to trade and trade and trade. And these guys will not easily just remove their liquidity. So I believe that is understood now. Now, how can I be a liquidity provider? Very simple. Remember, this is open, it is permissionless. You can just enter. You don't need anybody's permission to enter. You can come into the crypto space and do anything you want to do. So it's very, very simple. All you have to do is put an equal amount of the two tokens and lock it in that liquidity pool. That is it. If you want to withdraw your liquidity tokens back, it is easy, but you have to wait for some particular days. They call it an unlocking period. Liquidity provision is very, very important, and it is also rewarding. I am a liquidity provider on different platforms, and one of the ones I'm actually enjoying right now is on TNS, which is on the Terra blockchain. I provided liquidity, and I decided to stake my liquidity token. That was as at December or so when TNS did their airdrop. So I immediately saw potential. Was seeing about 300 and something % for staking liquidity tokens, and I was like, wow. So I quickly appealed into the team, and in fact it has been wonderful because I've been able to cash out ×2 of the initial amount I added as liquidity and staked. Now I removed that ×2 of the initial amount I added. I removed it, I swapped some, then I added it back to the liquidity pool again. So hopefully by December, that money should be large enough to take me to Dubai. I mean, not be so. So these are the preparations you are making. As a liquidity pool provider, you can enjoy benefits like this. There are some, because of the trading fees that will be received, when people begin to swap these tokens, definitely they are not swapping for free. If you want to swap, you pay although it is minute, but when you begin to calculate, like Ethereum now, I don't know how many thousands of transactions they have in a day. Ethereum is built to program about 12 transactions per second. So imagine something being built to program about 12 transactions per second. And in times like this, they are still having issues in terms of network speed, because many persons are just coming, making transactions, and in fact, it is something else. So even if it is 1 cent they are giving you, and you are having thousands of transactions being done daily, that's 1 cent per transaction will round up to something. And before you know, you are in money already. So that is one of the perks now of being a liquidity provider. I don't even know where I stopped again on my slide. So liquidity provision. I have 6 more minutes. Can I just see the slides? Let's see. I think there are some things I will just rush up and let's see. I said we were going to have some practical sessions. So please, if you have Trust wallets on your phone, just open Trust Wallet. If you do not have Trust Wallet, you can easily download Trust Wallet. If you do that, open Trust Wallet on your phone. There is a session there called the DAPPS, DApps, that's the Decentralized Applications. Okay, so you can just open that down, we'll get back to it. Popular Financial Services, DeFi, as we created. Some of the popular financial services that decentralized finance has created is Decentralized Exchange, which we just talked about, your interaction with the smart contract. Now, right, due to the lack of time now, very easy. Decentralized Exchange, how can I make money from this? Very, very simple. As an arbitrary trader now, you can decide to exploit liquidity pools from decentralized exchanges. Apart from that now, decentralized exchanges will give the largest amounts in forms of airdrops. You can just write that one down. They will give the largest amounts in forms of airdrop. You can decide to do robot airdrops, bot airdrops on Telegram, pursue this, pursue that. But these guys are the highest paying airdrops. Highest paying airdrops. The YDX did an airdrop and they gave $13,000. PowerSwap did an airdrop, they gave $10,000. Uniswap, that was in 2020, they gave about $1,200. 1inch gave about $1,000. So since 2020, the price has continued to increase and increase and increase. Now, how do you benefit from this now? Decentralized exchanges. The first thing is this. Sorry, I'm fast, I'm trying to beat time. The first thing is this. You just have to interact with a decentralized exchange. Like Uniswap already has a token, so it's a no-go area. So what you want to do is this, get information on decentralized exchange on any blockchain, decentralized exchange on any blockchain that does not have a token. You can go there and make some swaps on their token. Just swap this for this, swap this for this, swap this for this. At the end of the day, if they decide to launch a token and they decide, okay, let us reward our early users. Okay, they will now say, okay, this person has actually, because they will take a snapshot. All these records are on the blockchain. The day you interacted with it, it is there. So they will just pick, take a record. Persons that interacted before this particular time, they reward them. And most of the times the reward, especially if it is on Ethereum blockchain, the reward will be massive. You will see nothing less than $5,000, trust me. I have been a beneficiary of this. So I am a living testimony of something like this. Tapping on PowerSwap. So what you want to do now is you just get these decentralized exchanges now. You make trades on them. Definitely you will experience some slippage. Definitely you will pay some gas fees. But compared to the rewards you will be receiving, it will be nothing. Sincerely, it will be nothing. So that is on decentralized exchange. So Wisdom said something about decentralized exchange, which is the two forms of decentralized exchange, the order book and your liquidity. I won't touch that. Margin trading. Margin trading or margin and leverage trading now is simple. What happens is this, you borrow money to make a trade. You have an initial amount, they call it futures trading. You have an initial amount, which is your margin, but let's say you have $1,000, but I want to buy BTC worth of $10,000. I easily use a leverage. That leverage is a borrowed money, it is not my money. I borrow that amount, I buy BTC of $10,000. If BTC increases, I'm in profit. If it decreases, it is well. So now you can take advantage of this if you are a trader now. Lending and borrowing now, this is very, 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 very sweet, very, very important. It is technical. I don't know how many more minutes I have. It is very technical, but this is the summary. 2 more minutes. So lending and borrowing, this is the summary. You can easily lend. You can give your tokens out for lending. What you're doing is still smart contracts. You are giving or putting your tokens, locking your tokens in a smart contract. So these tokens now are being borrowed to persons who want to borrow. So it's a simple thing. Rather than going through banks, you can actually just borrow. But now there is something that makes it different from banks. Now, in a banking system now, you can go and they want to collect collateral. And your collateral can be, let's say, about 80% of the loan you are trying to borrow. But for this guy, if you bring a collateral, what you can borrow is about 80% of your entire collateral. So if you come with $100, you will be able to borrow $80. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. So, but now, how can I then benefit from this? Like, why am I borrowing if you will give me $80 out of $100? Very simple. Whenever you have a particular token, let's use Ethereum now and USDT. And let's say you have $10,000 of Ethereum and you are speculating that, oh, I need money, but I don't want to sell my Ethereum. You can easily give these guys your Ethereum and they will give you a particular amount of USDT. If Ethereum increases in price before you pay up your loan, you are in profit because you will pay up that exact, let's say you borrow 8,000 USDT and your Ethereum now has increased from 10,000 to about 13,000. You will still pay that 8,000 USDT you borrowed, collect your 13,000 Ethereum. You can use that USDT to do whatever you want to do. And your payments is not even time bound. You can decide if you don't want to pay for 1 year, you can decide not to pay for 1 year. If you want to begin to pay little by little, you can pay little by little. So that is one of the things you can actually do with lending and borrowing as well. Now, another thing that happened was this. I don't know if any one of you heard about the ape swap. I said ape swap. The mutant ape NFT when they decided to launch their token. And somebody decided to exploit the network. What happened was this. Some persons, they decided to put their NFTs in a lending contract. So this person now bought a collateral of $300,000. Now, with that collateral of $300,000, he was able to borrow an NFT because the NFT is worth about $300,000 or less. He borrowed that NFT. Now, the criteria for claiming your ape swap token when they did the airdrop was that just have the NFT. So this one has locked this token here already. Somebody came to borrow the token. I have the token. Easily claim the airdrop, about more than $80,000. Claim the first one. That NFT that he borrowed, he used that NFT as a collateral to borrow another NFT. He collected that NFT, claimed the airdrop. That NFT he collected, used it as collateral again to borrow. So he was able to borrow about 5 NFTs. And at the end of the day, was able to claim about $1.something million. After everything, he started returning the NFTs. So not only did he go with about $1.something million, he went back home with his initial 300,000 collateral. So this is what knowledge of lending and borrowing can do. I've said if I see that opportunity, the next time something like that will happen, I won't lose. So this is what lending and borrowing can help you do, because even with what you borrowed, you can use it as collateral to borrow again. So these are the benefits. Now, derivative tradings, Tumisha will talk about derivative tradings, insurance. Very simple, insurance now. Let's take for instance now, there are some particular protocols like Onyx and Nexus, Nexus and Onyx, ONYN. Okay. These are basically some insurance platforms now. What happens is this. There is an insurance in case there is any exploitation, if there is any form of exploitation, whenever you are trying to use this particular protocol, maybe there is a bug like Sir Wisdom said now, and it was exploited, and there is an insurance. I think these guys did it. Was it Womo that did it? I think Womo did it. They lost about some millions in funds. So what they did was that they were able to reward their users. Those people that lost money, there was an insurance, so they were able to at least return something to them. I don't know if it was the exact money, but I knew they gave them something and nobody was complaining again. So when nobody is complaining again, it's probably because they gave you your entire money or more. So insurance, etc., and etc. So they are definitely more than this. They are more than this. And decentralized finance is seeking to just grow in some other aspects as well. There are many, many things that we want to touch. real estate, etc. They are selling land on Meta. In fact, they are selling land on Meta or Metaverse now. You know, many things are happening. Many things you hear about NFTs and all. Many things are happening. So I don't know if I've been able to do justice to this, not just to speak, but to show you how you can actually benefit and make money from these things. So before I hand over the mic now, I would really want to implore with each and every one of us to make research. Study these things even after you leave here. Try to do these things, study them, try to find out information, get things to read on. One of the things I did not even speak about DeFi is you can build a career in DeFi. Basically, you can build a career in DeFi. I work as a DeFi specialist with perpetual protocol, and not just that, we are moving into other places as well, other protocols as well, because basically what you need is just once you have knowledge and you have some petty skills, but the knowledge can be a graphic designer, but you have the knowledge. The knowledge will get you, then you just do some certain things just to please them, and they pay you in dollars, and it is well. So with this, I've come to the end of my session. Thank you all very much for listening.
Please, resounding, expounding, super sounding ovation for our speaker. All right, thank you very much. And even though I was here and there, but I learned a lot. Who learned? Okay. All right. So thank you very much. I think we still have time for questions, rather, a section for questions. I know some people have been asking the question back to back as it is boiling, as they hot inside the stomach. But we also have a couple of minutes to ask questions. So if you have questions, please, for those online, I've already given you a forward. I've told you before now, if you have questions, just kindly type your questions. Type your questions in the question box. For those who are here physically, my people, please, you can ask your questions. Just signify by wiper if you have a question. Mr. Ablaze, we still need you here. We still need you here for questions. So if you have questions to ask, questions, anybody questions? You have a question still? We've gotten everything. Okay, somebody, a photographer has a question, smart. All right, so who again has a question? If you don't have a question, it's now. Nobody should say I want to ask question when one person asks question. I know it always happens this way. When somebody asks question, you're like, okay, I have a question too. Now is the time. Just tell me if you have a question. Okay, I have one, I have two. Who again? May I have a question too, fortunately. Who again? All right. Let me quickly check the online. I think we have a question from the online participants. All right, so I think I'll just read the question and you just help out. Okay, this is from Pamela Obaze. I'm pronouncing it so. Obaze. Please, I know I'm in Benin. Nobody should shoot me. Please. All right, so Pamela, this question is from Pamela. She said, which of the apps have prospects? Which of the apps have prospects? I really don't even mean. Okay, you understand her question, right? Okay. All right, so Pamela, he's going to be answering your question in a bit. So every other person who has a question physically, do you want it to come together or you want to do it one after the other? One after the other, okay.
So for the decentralized exchanges now that have potentials now of launching a token and doing an airdrop. Now, I have to be blockchain specific. On Ethereum now, I think there are about few of them that some people are getting ready to write as well. There are about few of them that I know, and one of them is Zerion. Now, the website is Zerion, Z-E-R-I-O-N, Zerion.io. The second one is Zapper.fi. Z-A-P-P-E-R. Zappa, Zerion, Zerion, Zerion.io. That's the website. Zappa.fi. So those are like the two I know. ZAPPEL. I think Sir Wisdom wants to add to that. Zappa.fi.
Not necessarily to add, just to help direct. Airdrop is like a section on its own. Is huge, with Ablaze leading the trail, at least within this room. There's a Twitter link I have that lists most of these exchanges that are yet to launch their token. It's now just to find a way to share it across. All right, so it's okay. Follow FinSmart, please. Follow FinSmart, get into our Telegram group. I'll forward the link. It lists quite a lot of them. So if you can interact with around, let me say around 30 of them, just go and rest. By December, you could do all right.
So the links will be, I think he said you follow FinSmart on Twitter. The links will be shared on Twitter.
I'm talking about the free mining apps, right? She said you should help list out and probably send it as
free mining apps. If you want to mine, go and mine Pi. When it comes to mining tokens, I think mining is past already. And the only token I know I had an opportunity of mining and I missed out on was Dodge. Like I had an opportunity on mining Dodge, but it was trash then, no value and all. But as regards mining applications that will help you mine cryptocurrencies, I really don't know. It's not something I do, so I can't speak on it.
All right, so I wanted to, as much as possible, make sure everything is cleared with the question she had.
It's not possible. I think some of these persons that are talking about
Mining, it's necessary I tell you this. What you are doing is not mining. What you are doing is a pyramid scheme where you are asked to deposit a certain amount of that cryptocurrency, and then with time you get a particular amount. That's not mining. I was speaking to someone and she told me she was mining Tron. How? Who mines Tron? Tron is not mineable. It's in the protocol. You cannot mine Tron. So you coming up and telling me you're mining Tron, it's funny to me. You get that kind of thing. So for most of these persons saying that they are mining, if you really want to mine and then you want to see what you are mining, as Ablaze said, go mine Pi. You will see it in real time. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. Someone is raising up. Okay, there's another question from the online section. I think if you can hear me, you can ask your question. Unmute your mic rather, and ask your question. Somebody is asking that.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
All right, so the uncle that is raising up your hand, I've given you access. You can talk. Unmute your mic.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think it's
I've done that.
Who has the access? Please allow the participants to speak. You can speak, okay?
Hello, can you hear me?
All right, Israel, you can go on. Ask your question.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So I want to ask the question.
All right, probably it could be his network. All right. So Israel, unfortunately, you have to type. Your network is not going to allow us to hear you. Okay, so for the people who have questions physically, let's quickly do that in 1, 2, 3. All right, go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ablaze, for the session. Please can we just yeah, I think one of my questions, I thought someone had asked, I think I wish someone answered the question about the exchanges that not yet launched their token. Okay, on the flip side, I think that's
So persons who want to learn more can also go more in depth with what they have done so far. Thank you.
Sounding more like it as well. So for platforms now where you can learn more about blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, etc., etc. One of those platforms is FinSmart. In fact, if you check our YouTube now, there are videos on our YouTube platforms that there's a video on yield farming, different videos on our YouTube platform. Please, what's the YouTube FinSmart community on YouTube? So there are videos there already uploaded there, and definitely we'll be uploading more videos. You know, we actually spend time to prepare for these things just so we can pass this knowledge for free. We're definitely not paying anything. So you can watch these videos, you can learn, you can get materials. Now there is a guy I follow on Twitter that actually offers a course. Sorry, he's selling a course on DeFi for $109. And I'm not somebody that likes paying money to other people. So if you want to learn for free, you feel okay, let me just do this. I think there are some YouTube channels I can recommend. One of which is Finematics. Finematics, Finematics. Finematics. So you go to Finematics, you go to playlist. Once you get to their playlist, you will see they arrange the course in order. So you will see DeFi, you will see roll-ups, you will see everything you want to see basically on cryptocurrencies. So Finematics is like one of the top-notch YouTube channels I would advise you to subscribe to get more knowledge, and FinSmart as well, definitely.
Like fine, same thing, or fine, this kind of
Okay. You're saying something about bugs like being exploited. Yeah. So I wanted to know, like, is it bugs like, let me say, for instance, like coming to an app, they say there's something like bug, like there's a bug issue, something like that, or it's bug like behind the scene, that is coding or something like that.
So he's asking about bugs. So can you ask again?
I wanted to know what kind of bugs. Is it bugs behind the scene or the normal one that some apps do show when they have issues? Like in exploitation.
Bots themselves they are simply automated. They are simply codes that are written. They're basically codes. And with something like Python now, you can write a bot that will basically run through a website, gather a whole lot of data within the website, send it back to you. Another bot on a different place will transform this data to a CSV file, probably load it up in a different app for you. So when you say bots, that's basically what bots is. Now, in terms of exploitation, okay, bug, B-U-G. Well, bugs simply are, when you say bugs, you're simply saying, because as I said yesterday, when you write codes, when we say smart contracts, they're not really smart. So most often than not, you write a code and then you expect it to do something, and then it really does that thing, but you do not know that it does something extra. That could be a bug. Or that you write it into pieces. So these guys, they are ethical. Some of them are ethical hackers. Those are the ones that do the bulk bounty, but some others, we call them the black hat hackers. Those ones, they come, they destroy, they move. It's that simple.
Last question, yeah. And I know you actually talked about it, but because of for time's sake, maybe after this section, you could just drop it for us. You talked about carriers in DeFi, right? Carriers, yeah. So you could help us do a briefing on some of the tracks. I think some persons might be interested. I'm asking on your behalf. To break even. Yeah, thank you.
Go and brush your mouth. Don't full of
I said trust wallet. If you've opened your trust wallet, basically, I just wanted you to see some things there. If you open your trust wallet, like opening mine here also, we've been mentioning some things. If you go to the dApps section, dApps, D-A-P-P-S, decentralized applications, you will see some applications there. If your trust wallet is as updated as mine, you will see new dApps, popular, smart chain, yield farming, games, exchanges. I'm mentioning like the subheadings now. For those of you that have opened, you'll see it. Marketplaces, social, utility, staking, etc., etc. So now basically you have under new dApps now, you have Waxy, Mixware, etc., etc. Now these are decentralized applications. Decentralized applications. You have under your DeFi now, you have Venus, Bifi, PancakeSwap. These are decentralized applications that are decentralized exchanges. So basically what they do on, if you look under DeFi now, you see Venus, Bifi, PancakeSwap. What you basically do on these guys now is you can easily make trades. They call it swap. Swap one token for another at ease. This is where your liquidity pool is. This is where your AMM functions and other things, other etc. like that. You have yield farming, you have games, and you have other things as well. I don't think there's time to talk about yield farming. Probably I will still have to direct you back to the FinSmart video we did on yield farming, which TUNMISE touched. So I don't know if there's any other.
No other question. Don't worry, I'll still see you in camera. Like, all right. So thank you very much. Please let's give him a round of applause again. It's not too much. It's not too much. He's dishing more than you're giving him. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Mr. Ablaze, for the section. All right. So quickly, we're going to to the next section. We spent a lot of time. We're going to go to the next section, and I don't know if he's available. All right, he is. All right, so next we'll be inviting the president of the Yali Network Edo State. Yali is Young African Leader Initiative. Edo State chapter to give us a word.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome all of you this afternoon. Because you're not smiling. Please, if you know you've not written your name on the attendance, let me see your hand. We have some persons that have not written their name on the attendance. Because the persons here are more than the names there. So if you've not written your name, please just do well to help us write your name. Thank you. Can we have it? Yesterday, I did a brief talk on what we do at Yali. And I feel it didn't fit because after the program, some persons were asking questions about leadership, about Yali, entrepreneurship. And I just said, okay, let's talk briefly on leadership. Can we do that? Can we do that? All right. Facts about leadership. Frequently asked questions about leadership. What is your definition of leadership? Who can define leadership for us here? It's going to be an interactive class. I will not just do the talking. So I talk, you talk, and we learn. Am I communicating? What's your definition of leadership? Who will help us with that? Should I just pick somebody? Should I?
I'll define leadership as the ability, or should I say more ability? I should see more of ability or more. I've forgotten what I want to do. To lead persons effectively.
So anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Leadership is the skill or ability to organize a group of persons to have or achieve a particular goal in such a way that they take the people that are being led, take the job or the task as if it's their own. So you're kind of influencing them to want to run with a particular vision.
She should have been the one doing this presentation. Please, a round of applause for her. Second question says, leadership a position or an act? Is it a position? If it's a position, let me see your hand. Is it a position, yeah? An act, let me see your hand. Is both of them, let me see your hand. Clap for yourself. And you are clapping. Okay. Are particular qualities needed to be a leader? We'll find out. What makes a leader? What do they do for the society? Who answer that for us? You say coming, it's an interactive class. So I talk, you talk, we learn. What makes a leader? We just said yes, now there are particular qualities.
Okay, as a leader, like what makes a leader actually depends on their function, their direction for the society and their.
Okay, as we go on, we'll know. How do people become leaders? Are they born or made? If they are born, let me see your hand. They are made, let me see your hand. If they are both, let me see your hand. As we move on, we'll find out. What is the difference between a leader, a role model, a manager, and a person in a position of authority? What's the difference? Or they are all the same? Oh, a leader can be a role model, can be a manager too. A leader can be a manager. Oh, okay. As we find out, we'll know. Now let's talk about principles of effective leadership. During the process of this, we'll find the answers to the questions we answered before that we are clapping for ourselves. Anyone can be a leader. Like I said yesterday, I said we are all leaders. It's either you're a good leader or you're a bad leader. And I told you that in Yali, what we do is we groom good leaders, yeah? Leaders are made and not born. Nobody is born a leader. They are made. You understand? Okay. Leadership is an act and not a position. It is not both of them. Leadership is an act and not a position. Leadership is about possibilities, seeing opportunities, and hope where many believe this does not exist. Like she said, a group coming together and performing a task as if they own that task. Now, anyone can lead in different ways in society. Leadership can manifest itself as impacting one person's life or the entire nation. Effective leadership is about making positive changes in society and improving the lives of others. Now, leadership is measured by the amount of impact you made over the years. By the ability, self-awareness, the ability to listen and compassion of others. I can't lead you if I don't even know myself. I have to be aware of myself. I have to know who I am for me to say I want to lead. So what that means is, if we are all leaders, we should know who we are. Leadership have clear and focused vision, goals, and objective. Like you said, we know our goal, we know our focus, we work towards it. And there is a saying, when the purpose of the thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So when we don't know the goal, when we don't know the vision, then the focus will be lost. Are we following? Effective leaders earn respect, admit mistakes, and always strive to learn more. Effective leaders earn respect. They don't command respect. Are we following? I shouldn't demand you to respect me. I earn it by the things I do, by the way I act. Do you understand that? Next slide. Now let's go to the elements of leadership. What are the elements of leadership? How many persons can just tell us? But the previous slide told us some elements of leadership. If somebody else can just mention before we go to the next slide. Elements. Who is helping us?
A leader takes initiative.
As we find out, as we move on, we'll find out. Next slide. I talked about self-awareness. I have to be aware of myself first. I have to know who I am, first of all, before I lead, yeah? But then I still have to know the people I'm leading. I still need to be aware of those that I am leading. Now, for us to be able to do this, for you to be aware of yourself, you have to do a SWOT analysis for yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? You understand that? You also do SWOT analysis for those you want to lead. Now, generally, as a leader, you don't need to have a particular set of people you are leading. I told you we are all leaders. So that also involves your relationship with others. If you have a SWOT analysis of yourself, you can easily do SWOT analysis for the other person. You understand that? And there's what they call the Johari window model. How many of us have heard it before? The Johari window model. As we move on, we'll find out. Then the temperament. I'm sure we know what temperament is. As we move on, we'll find out. Next slide. So this is the SWOT. You find out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what the opportunities are, what the threats are. Do you understand? It's a very simple thing, but when you want to do it, you know it's a very difficult task to do. It sounds simple. It sounds when I measure opportunities now in your head, you are beginning to imagine opportunities, and when I measure threats, you are imagining it in your head. But take a pen and write it down. You see how difficult it is. Next slide. We'll dwell more on this. The Johari window model comes like this and like this and like this, like this. We'll start with this one. My public self. This one, if you see, it says known to self, yeah, and known to others. There are some qualities you have that you are aware of, and other persons around you are aware of that same qualities. Like as I just said this now, you can imagine those qualities that you have, that you are aware you have it, and other persons around you are aware. Are we following? Are we following? All right. Blind spots. The qualities you know you have, but the people around you don't even know. You know you have them, but it's only you that knows. You can start to imagine those qualities in your head now. Like I said, it's going to be a practical class because after this, I'm going to ask you questions. Now let's move to this. My hidden self is known to you, but unknown to others. My unconscious self, unknown to self, unknown to others. Sometimes you do something and you say, people around you will say, I'm not sure I do that thing. And you yourself say, I don't even know when I take do one. So those are your unconscious self, unknown to you, unknown to others. Are we good? Do we understand that? Next slide. Let's talk about temperaments. There are more, but we'll just sideline to these two, introvert and the extrovert. For the introvert, we have the choleric. What are their attributes? Their color is. Let's talk now. Their color is red. They like fire. They are hot. If you touch them, it's fire. Quick to what? They are easy to. This brings us back to, and they are heroic. So as time goes on, you begin to know where you fall. You begin to know where you fall. I know where I fall. You have a question?
And the person said introverts are phlegmatic and melancholy. Not like what I'm saying here is like a kind of contrary to what I do, because introverts are not social. Sanguine and choleric, they're definitely social. Extroverts are not social people.
Let's continue. Let's continue. Sanguine. Their color is air. Social. They love people. They are talkative. They talk a lot. Just a repetition. Now let's move to the phlegmatic. Their color is what? Melancholy. And is feeling that considers the glass half empty. Pessimistic. Why is the glass not full? So the water in the half doesn't concern them. It's the empty parts that concerns them. Many persons fall here. Let's move on because of our time. Now, the number one was self-awareness here. And number two is a leader should have vision for the number two. That project you want to do, what's the end goal? What's the end goal? At the end of that project, what should be measured as this is your intervention? Is the goal attainable? What measures are required for vision attainment? What are your strategies? You understand? 3, responsibility for action. You should always take responsibility for action, even when you are not at fault. How many of us can do that? I mean, do one. All right, assess responsibility, discharge responsibility, be accountable. As a leader, you should know that you can't do everything. That sometimes you delegate people to do some things. Next slide. Problem-solving ability, expertise, deploying skills, experiences, and lessons. A leader should be committed. A leader should be what? So if you are not ready to be committed, this means you are not a leader. In other words, if you are not ready to be committed, it means you are not a what? Next slide. Because of our time, we're rushing. These are some of the attributes of effective leaders. Let's read together. Can one person handle all this? It's possible, yeah? Next slide. Now let's talk the difference between management and leadership. Are there differences? The manager gives tasks. The manager gives directive, task-oriented. The leader should do what? The manager do what? A leader do what? Next one. The manager do what? I want sure and say that me in charge. But the leader do what? The manager do what? Set goals. Why a leader do what? But at the end of this, you know where you stand. Though. That's why we're doing this. So you know if you've been managing or you've been leading. Just them action for the manager, while for the leader. Process focus for the manager, while managers are focused on the target, on the task. We want to hit 20 million. And you forget that it's people that will attract those 20 million, but the leader is more people focused. Manager focuses on the structure and process, less dynamic. What the leader is structures and process. For manager is tangible skills. Why for the leader is? Next slide. Tangible skills. You know, we're talking about the attributes, where we talk about the bold, the ambitious. So for the manager, there are some tangible skills that you need to have to become a manager. You understand that? So we'll talk about the differences. I asked if a leader, a role model, and a person in position of power are the same. So for this is for the role model, this is for the person in position of power, and this is for the leader. So let me come this way. These are the traits admired by others due to his or her talent, standing, or achievements. For the role model, yes. For the leader, for the person in position of, or the CEO, let me use CEO, yes. But for the leader, yes. Exploit others for personal gain. A role model, maybe, yes. A role model might exploit you for his personal gain. CEO, of course now, might exploit you for his personal gain. But a leader will not do that. Are we following? Controls people through intimidation or force. Let me be here. Go do that thing. I mean, I bring that chair you're sitting on, bring it here. The role model may do that. The CEO may do that. I can't put no or yes because I'm not that role model. So I just put maybe. They may do that and they may not do it. But a leader will not do that. Inspires others to make positive changes in society. Maybe there are good and bad role models now. There are good and bad CEOs. So a role model might do that. The CEO might do that. And a leader will do that because that is his job. Are we following? Next slide. I think that should be all. Okay, conclusion. You don't need to be in a position to be a leader. It is about who you are than what you are. It is either who you are than, all right. It is the attributes you carry are more important than what you can do as a leader. What we are interested in is who you are. Are we following? No matter where you find yourself, try to make a positive impact on everyone and everything around you. That's what a leader does. He makes impact, positive impact, even without knowing them. You understand? So many persons have impacted me even without saying one word. Their presence alone impacts me. So if you want to be a leader, if you aspire to be a good leader, because like I said, we're all leaders. If you aspire to be a good leader, you should be able to impact people positively, even without saying a word. Your actions, like you said, who you are, should inspire them. Thank you very much. That's the last slide. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for Mr. President, the Young African Leadership Initiative. Why do I have to look at this thing before I say it today? That's impressive. Like conditioning, right? Ha. No. I have to always look there before I can remember what it is. Something I've done for how many years now? Well, that's aside. Thank you so much for the section. I learned. And I know every one of us also learned one thing or the other from the section. Thank you very much. So right about now, I know we are exhausted, sitting in a place for a long time to learn without playing or without stretching. Will make any knowledge you get to just going to dance down. So right now we're going to be having a break section. I think we're going to have that because we're already behind schedule, and we'll have that for about 5 minutes. So you stretch, meet somebody other than the person you know on a normal, right? Meet somebody, stretch, snap pictures, quick memories. Let's do that at the count of 2, 1, 1.5, 1/4. Yeah, and it's 2. So you can start now. We have 5 minutes to do that. Let's snap pictures. We're going to be using the pictures to actually create a buzz online, probably at the end of the event on Twitter, and we're going to connect with the social media handles of the organizers and the partners involved. So let's just do that in 5 minutes. Okay, see now we are going to snap a picture. So we have a minute more for any ball. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope we've done the much connections that we need to make. All right. Okay, so let's get together before we kickstart the next section. Okay, well, I said 1 minute, but it seems we are overjoyed. Please, let's come together. We are going to kickstart the next section right away. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be starting the next section now. And for the next section, this is the wrap, or this is the cap of the event. Please, let's one house, let's maintain decorum. One house, we're starting the next section. All right, so it has been an amazing 2 days of learning about blockchain technology and decentralized finance. So to wrap up the section, we're going to be welcoming the apostle of finance himself, All right, he's the convener of this amazing event. Please, with a resound. Learn as much as possible.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, and thank you for your time and your patience. So this is the last session, and I believe we would get a lot of value from it. So I was talking about buying and selling cryptocurrencies using exchanges. So of course, you have to use a platform, either a decentralized exchange or a centralized exchange. I'm sure what a decentralized exchange is and centralized exchange from what the previous speaker has spoken on. All right, so introduction to crypto exchanges. Traders want to buy cryptocurrency and trade them with each other. This is why crypto exchanges are in such a need in the industry. So crypto exchanges gives you the opportunity to be able to buy and sell cryptocurrencies. All right, so which means on the crypto exchange is where you get the opportunity to be able to get somebody who is ready to sell, right? Or get somebody who is ready to buy. Okay, so imagine nobody is buying what you are selling. Would you make money from it? Good. So if this thing is of value, right, and I give it to you, and there is nobody buying it from you, and you have to sell it to make money from you, will you make money from it? It will just be with you, right? That's what that thing is called. It becomes illiquid. It becomes what? Why? Because it's not convertible to what? To cash. So now an exchange in general, before we come to crypto exchange, an exchange in general, either the stock exchange or the foreign exchange, is a place where buyers and sellers meet, right? More like what kind of markets do we have in Benin here? Popular markets, Oba market, New Benin market. So now, if those people who are selling at New Benin market, nobody is coming to buy, will they sell? No, they are selling because they are what? They are buyers. Do you get? So now, what will happen if there are more buyers than sellers? The goods will be scarce. Why? Because they will buy people that have bought almost everything up, right? Now, what happens if there are more sellers than there are buyers? What happens? Yeah, so the value will drop, right? You start selling at auction price. Something that might say, okay, this thing is 50K. They'll say, okay, come and take it for 30K, 40K, right? That's because there is more persons selling than persons willing to what? Buy. Okay. Now that's why you see, if you've seen some charts, you see that sometimes the market goes up, sometimes the market goes down, right? So when the market is going up, it means that in that market there is more buyers than there are what? Sellers. But the moment market is dropping, it means that what? There are more sellers than there are what? Buyers. All right. So that's it. So on a crypto exchange now, it is the engagement of buyers and sellers that keeps the exchange going. Do you get what I'm saying now? So if there is no buyer, then sellers cannot sell. If there are no sellers, then you can't buy. All right. That is where the crypto exchange comes in, bringing buyers and what? Sellers together. So it connects them together. The next slide. Types of crypto exchanges. We have the centralized exchanges, the decentralized exchanges, and the hybrid exchanges. Now, the centralized exchange is the exchange that has a central control. A what? A central control, which is when you want to use such an exchange, they will ask you for KYC. They ask you what? How many of us have a Binance account here, or FTX, or KuCoin? So I'm sure you filled in your KYC and the likes. Very good. So they'll ask you for your identity. So because it is centralized, right? Even recently now, they are now also following government orders, right? Shutting down accounts because what it is what centralized, right? There are people that have the power to say, okay, we don't want to use this exchange again. Do you understand now? Good. But on a decentralized exchange, there is no central authority. There's no what? Nobody can tell you not to use a decentralized exchange. Nobody can lock your account that is on a decentralized exchange. Because on the decentralized exchange, you don't have an identity there. Your ID is your wallet address, and your login details might be your seed face and the likes like that. So there is nothing that is saying the person that owns this account is from Nigeria, his name is so and so, right? So you just open the account, you get your seed face or your mnemonic face, and then you are able to access the account. So it is decentralized, no central authority at all. But an hybrid exchange is an exchange that has both central control and what? Also decentralized. Okay. Now I've explained it. So one of the short form for this centralized exchange, we call it SEX. So like I said, it's a place where buyers and sellers meet on some centralized platforms, in the meaning that someone handles your crypto and is responsible for it. So it means on a centralized exchange, your wallet is a custodian wallet. All right. So more like they act like the bank. Okay. Like I said, when you send money into when you deposit money into your bank, right, a figure shows on your account, right? Now, that money, is it in your hand? No, it's with somebody, right? So the bank is in custody of your money. So also on the centralized exchange, someone is a custodian of your account. So when you deposit money into Binance, right, your Binance goes into their own wallet, right? But a number that, okay, you deposit $1,000, the figure will show on the account, but the real money is right in their own account. So now they can block it. Do you get it now? So government report that, oh, somebody stole Bitcoin and they moved it into Binance. Binance will block the person's account, doesn't guarantee that Binance will release the Bitcoin. Who is the bigger thief? That is it. That's why centralized exchange are very dangerous and are very wicked. You get some are just wicked. Like there's some of my friends whose accounts have been locked with thousands of dollars there, and no reason, whatsoever. Imagine they lock someone's account that is having 18 million naira, and then all hope of reaching the central authority failed. If you are conversant with, there was a trend that was trending on Binance this, Binance that, all over Twitter, right? One person or the other have an issue with the fact that they either lock their account or they can't access their account again, and there is money in their account. Do you get that now? That is centralized exchange. Somebody is making the decision. Somebody is owing your money and can decide one day that it's not giving you your money again. That's centralized. So when you are using centralized exchange, you have to be very careful, right? I want to encourage you to hold your funds on a centralized exchange, except you are trading. Probably you are trading features, all right? But when you just want to buy a crypto and keep it, use the centralized exchange, all right? The downside of a decentralized exchange is just that if you lost your seed phase, you might, I don't say you go back to the trenches, but it looks like that. So advantages of a centralized exchange: it is easy to use. right? It is easy to use. Decentralized exchange, like the user, it has a great UI UX, right? So if you open Binance now or other decentralized exchange, it's easy to tell you that, okay, this is how you do, this is how you do it. And even without somebody telling you, you can actually just navigate it and catch up later. So quick response. They have customer support. You understand? But some response are very, very late, depending on the exchange, centralized exchange. Customer support so there. Various trading pairs. So you have various trading pairs. So you can trade Ethereum versus BTC, Ethereum versus BNB, Ethereum versus XRP. They are trading pairs. Also, they often offer flat gateway. So which means prior to the ban of banks, you get CBN did not ban crypto. CBN banned banks. They are banning themselves. They banned banks from carrying out transactions in what? In cryptocurrency. So CBN did not ban crypto in Nigeria, but they banned banks from carrying out transactions in cryptocurrency. So now, instead of us to be able to easily use the Naira to just deposit straight into the exchange, because that's one of the things, like easy, you can always buy with your Naira and buy crypto directly. There was a time we could just use your Naira to buy BTC, but now you have to look for somebody who has BTC and then buy from the person. So these are the advantages of centralized exchange. Also, additional services such as staking, saving opportunity, initial exchange of this one was just introduced, right? And after 2017, when a lot of exchanges made money from ICOs, initial coin offerings, they now introduce initial exchange offerings. So projects who want to list on an exchange will just go through the exchange to list instead of them going through an initial coin offering. All right. Yeah. Now, the but is that some people feel uncomfortable sharing their private data in the KYC process as well. So this might be a barrier for some few persons. All right. I've worked with some crypto firms, like centralized crypto firms, whereby they require you to put in your BVN, right? So while I was even encouraging people to use their app for crypto, but they were very skeptical about the fact that why do I have to put in my BVN? Why? Do you understand now? Why do I have to put in my BVN? So that's just one of the downsides of not the only one, but one of the major downsides of a centralized exchange. So decentralized exchange now is the alternative of what? A centralized exchange. In comparison with the traditional centralized exchange, the transactions and trade are automated by using smart contracts and decentralized applications. So in this place now, it is smart contracts that is carrying out the transaction. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is smart contracts already carrying out the transaction. On a decentralized exchange, there is already liquidity provided. So you don't need to wait for a buyer. Do you get what I'm saying now? Before you can buy. Neither do you need to wait for a seller before you can sell, right? There is already liquidity in the pool. So anytime you want to buy or sell, you do that, right? That's on a decentralized exchange. But the price on a decentralized exchange is on a DEX low trading volume. Also, some decentralized exchange have small liquidity, also lower speed, and also poor. That's if you have interfaced with decentralized exchange before, you know they have poor UI and it's hard to use, right? Have anybody used Trust Wallet? You see how you have to go to the app. If you want to buy, you go to the app, connect to PancakeSwap, then you now swap, and you tell you that the coin you want to buy, it's not on BTC Smart Chain. You have to change the stuff to Ethereum Smart Chain or Polygon Smart Chain. So all those process, right, is not so. What me and you want is for our life to be easy. Let me just push one or two buttons and then I've gotten what I want to do. All right. But then you have to still put in so much effort to understand the UI of a decentralized exchange. But the thing is, your money is more safer on the decentralized exchange than it is on the centralized exchange. Hybrid exchange. Simply, it's the kind that is taking advantage of both the centralized exchange and the decentralized exchange. It combines the two together. For fast transaction speed, you can find in centralized platform and security assurance by still holding the private key, right? So which means when you deposit your money on this centralized exchange, right, they are holding your own private keys, right? But on a hybrid exchange where they combine both centralized and centralized exchange, you would have access to your own private keys, right? And also with the centralized platform, you'll be able to carry out your transactions faster, all right? Hybrid types are a new generation of crypto trading marketplace, but still under development. It's not so popular. I don't think I've seen one. Is there any yet? Just one. So it's still very, very at the embryonic stage. So I've not seen an exchange that actually does the combination of this, but because innovation is very powerful, people are already foreseeing it. All right. So the most popular hybrid type of exchange is, okay, there's one type, they call it the QX exchange, and also using Binance. I think Binance is also in control of Trust Wallet. Okay, so you can use that, but then when you use Trust Wallet, you have your private key to yourself. Now, what are the key risk factors in cryptocurrency? Of course, everything in the financial market has its own risk, and they are susceptible to certain risks, right? So because cryptocurrency now is a new innovation, right? So it is still test running to withstand some certain risk, right? So it's a new innovation, but you will discover that when they say China ban cryptocurrency, what will happen? Everybody start selling, market start reacting, right? China ban cryptocurrency almost like 5 times. Why now? So you know that is actually, we call it food, right? Trying to manipulate the market. So China ban cryptocurrency, but because the market is still very embryonic, just like now, you frighten a small child. You know, if you get to a point when you do like this, the child will say, "You won't call it." You know, if it has already grown to that level whereby it can withstand your oppression. So one thing about the crypto market is that it's still growing, right? So it will get to a point whereby it can withstand any force or whatsoever coming in. Do you get it now? Now, what some factors that are impacting the crypto market now cannot impact the foreign exchange market like that, right? Because one of the largest exchange in the world, all right? Same thing as regards to the stock market, okay? Even in the stock market, when some bad news happens, I don't think I've seen since I'm trading stock, I don't think I've seen a downfall that is -20 before. Have you seen -20? Why some of the stocks I've bought, I've not seen -20 before, or probably it happened during COVID-19. Now, but can you compare the impact it had on the stock market like it had on the crypto market? So in the crypto market, we're talking about -40%. You get, that's just because there is not so much volume, you get, and stability in the crypto market. So the crypto market is still subject to diverse risks. So let's just look at them. We have exchange risk. Exchange risk, like we said, loss or destruction of private key, right? Like one of our friends, he stored some funds. He had carried out some transaction on a particular exchange, and they did an airdrop. I think the airdrop was worth how much? $2,000. So he now started looking for his seed face, like he's looking for his shoe. You know, he could not find that seed face again, and that's how everything in that wallet is gone. So you have to be very careful. Exchange risk, you might lose the possibility of you losing your private key, right? And might not grant you access to your account again. Also, cyber security risk, including malicious activities on trading platforms. Now, something happened yesterday, but before then, a cybersecurity analyst once told, I was in a closed meeting, and we're talking about the security of the blockchain system and the like. So he said that there is nothing that is 100% secure. Nothing is 100% secure. One hacker is somewhere that will break into it and surprise everybody. All right. So yesterday, a young man entered into my DM on Twitter. I was like, can I write smart contracts? So I said, okay, though I can't write smart contracts, but I have a friend who is a blockchain developer who can write smart contracts. So I said, is it a paid job? He said it's a paid job. So I replied that my friend. Let me read the message. So I think it will be best if I read it directly from my. So he sent him a message and he asked him that, okay, let me read it. I'm coming. So you see that there are cybersecurity risk. Let me just I want to read it word for word so that you can get the point of what I'm trying to. Okay, good. So he entered his DM. He said, okay, he greeted him and he said, okay, I'm here. Let me know what you want. So he said, I'm looking into creating a DApp, a decentralized application. Can you do that? I said, yes, I can. A DApp for MetaMask. Immediately users connect it to their account, it will be able approached me and said he wants to sell $35,000 worth of BTC. You know, like I said, okay, like, wow, $35,000. You know, you are a student. I know you now in department of this. I'm not looking down on him, but that was quite huge for the fact that I can't connect anything that he's doing that can actually worth the hair. So tell me the story now. So he said, you know, pastor. Yeah. I said, what is it? What is it? He said, they create websites, right? People connect their wallet to all those things that click and get Kinikon BTC and less like that. So as they are clicking, all their accounts probably connected to Chrome or whatever, they will be siphoning their funds. So now that's what I'm doing now. So let's just do the transaction. I said, okay, I get. I just run away. You get. The reason is because if I carry out that transaction, one day will come, it will connect the crime to me. You get, because blockchain is becoming, we now have blockchain and crypto forensic analysts. They can read smart contracts, read where it is going to, possibly trace the IP address, you get, track the person, and then you will say, no, not me, only me go. Come on, me, I want to go to US, so I will go through FBI. No, it's not me and you. So that's the cybersecurity risk. Then 3, risk associated with peer-to-peer transactions of digital currencies can be treated on numerous, so that there is risk in these too. So somebody wanted to play a fast one on a friend of mine on a group that we belong. We wanted to sell some volume of cryptocurrency. All right. Now, you know, peer-to-peer, you don't know the person on the other end. right? But then you just want to trust the fact that as you send him the money, he's going to send it back. So you get. But there are persons who have sent money that the person who's supposed to send them cash would report them to Binance that they've not paid the money. So now Binance will now be holding the person who have actually sent money, like the person said he has paid you and you have not sent your money. So and sometimes some persons they just create that account solely because they want to carry out that fraud. And once it is done like that, they don't mind if Binance shut down the account. The only thing Binance can do is to shut down the account. You get, that is just it. So you have to just also be careful when doing peer-to-peer. That is part of the exchange risk. Yeah. Also, regulations preventing or restricting trading of digital currencies, like the ones we had, the few experience we had in Nigeria, right? Where the central, we are still even having it, where the central bank has restricted banks from carrying out transactions in crypto, and then they also have the NF. But you have the energy and time to track crypto traders' accounts. All right. And there was with also there are bodies that also support crypto traders in Nigeria. I don't know if you know CBAN. You know CBAN, you know, they are bodies that help you fight and make sure that no, you will get your money back. So several people whose account have been shut by the central bank have been taken to court and have got their money back, got extra change. Yes, they got their money back, court to still find central bank to pay the person like probably 500K or whatever. So it's small now, they have money, so they just pay 500K. So now the fifth one is, so the regulatory risk is there. You get, so if you use your account for crypto related transactions, it can be shut down. It can be shut down now. If in recent times, central bank fined almost, was not 5 banks, 200 million, 500 million, because they allow their customers to carry out these transactions. All right. So 5, currency conversion risk. Policy or interruption in the deposit and withdrawal of place currency into or out of the trading platform may impact the ability of certain investors to convert. So there is also this risk also there. Currency conversion risk, inability to convert your currency to cash, right? Possibly because of regulatory activities. The next one. Okay. I'll talk about cybersecurity risk in the crypto market. So the pitching is a technique hackers use to impersonate a credible firm, such as crypto trading platform, to email subscribers and persuade them to do some actions. Do you understand? So that's what they do, right? So when they build that, they call it clone. They will clone the exact platform. So you'll be thinking you are interacting with that exchange, not knowing that it is a malicious site. Now, they will also persuade you to carry out transaction on that platform, whereas they would use that opportunity to hack into your account. So it's also very important for you to verify websites that you are connecting the wallet into. Illegal trading platforms. Because cryptocurrency is still in its infancy, new trading platforms are springing up to acquire the trust of those considering investing in it. Now, there are also some illegal trading platforms. They will just come today and say, they will run 1 or 2 seminars. They will use $1,000 to cash out $1 million. They will run seminar in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in this, and then people will crowd into it. There is one, they were, what was that one? Somebody was thinking about yesterday, for something, for Sarge, when it started, I told people that for me, I don't see it lasting. You get, it's not a sustainable way of, Bitcoin did not run social media markets, did not run Facebook ad, right? So if a project will fly, right, it must have its own people who believe in it. You don't have to run Facebook. Even if you're going to run Facebook ad, it's not aggressively like, or if the only place I mean for you to run the ad is in my room. No. You get, so that's, you have to be very careful when it's becoming so, when the essence is becoming, you're almost advertising in your domot that you want to run. Yeah. So 3, malwares. Crypto malwares, in essence, is a type of malware that allows unauthorized users to mine cryptocurrency on another person's computer or server. So have you seen this thing? I will say, mine crypto, mine Bitcoin, and then you're using your phone to mine it, will be counting till eternity. Till eternity. So that's part of it. Now, 8 safety tips. 8 safety tips for crypto traders. 8 safety tips for crypto traders. Simple rule for keeping your cryptocurrency safe. Opt for a cold wallet. I think they told us about a cold wallet yesterday, right? Who can remind us of a cold wallet?
Wallets offline. Either you write your seed phrase in the book, so that book can be your code wallet, or any way you keep your login details out of the internet space.
Thank you very much. So the next one is use strong password and multi-factor authentication. Don't use a password that can easily be guessed, right? Mix it up with symbols, all right? And use multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication in the sense that use Google authentication, email authentication, SMS authentication, right? So that if somebody is trying to, manipulate your wallet, you will get a notification, right? Via SMS, also via email, okay? There's also this Google authentication whereby you have to get some numbers. Those numbers are random. Hey, that is even better. That's even better. All right. Do your research and homework. It's also very important. You don't just jump on everything someone throws at you, right? Do your research and homework. Now, beware of scams. Beware of scams. For those of us who want to chase airdrops, right? It's good, but be careful. You don't have to, any airdrop or platform that's asking you to pay before you can be able to make money for withdraw something, is just wrong, right? If it's airdrop, it ought to be free, right? By performing taxes that does not have to involve you paying someone or paying the platform. Now, use secure network and avoid public Wi-Fi. Do you know that there are some persons that will connect Wi-Fi, right? And that Wi-Fi they can use to tap into all your gadgets, all your informations. So there was an ad I watched, and it was an investigation. The guy is an hacker, so but his face was covered with all this. If you watch Money Heist, that's what they used to cover face. So this was covered. And he told the interviewer that what he's going to do is that he's going to hack into his phone, tell him the name of his, tell him the information, everything he carried out on that phone. If he taps into the Wi-Fi connected, to any device, probably at the filling station, right? So the man drove miles away from that place. I went to use, the Wi-Fi at the gas station, and then he tapped into the man's phone. Immediately, the man connects to the Wi-Fi. he tapped into the phone. The man called his wife, asked her to prepare egg, and then cut the phone, then and told his son that, okay, when I come back, we'll go to the grocery store, I will buy you a bicycle. Now, when he got back to that place, the man said, okay, right, how was your conversation with your wife? Her name is so and so. So you promised to take your child, to the grocery store or whatever to buy a bicycle. And the man was just looking at him like this. Like, what? That's to tell you how powerful these hackers are. So don't just get to a particular place, they write free Wi-Fi, and you want to jump on it. It's very, very risky. It can expose you. Back up your private keys. Back up your private keys. You might not want to store them in a single place, right? You might store them in 2 to 3 different places that are away from the eyes of people you don't want to allow them to access it. Now, conduct software updates routine. So always update your software, because some of these software, they always upgrade their security system, right? So if you are using the old version, you can be attacked. So you have to upgrade. You have to upgrade. Beware of fake trading groups. Beware of what? Fake trading groups. They will be dropping different bots. And connect your account before you know all your money is gone. You get. All right. Exchange. Okay. I'm going to have a Binance account here. Awesome. How about Trust Wallet? So I'm sure we should understand better how to use the tool now. So that's all. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Okay, thank you very much. I didn't expect him to stop that. Like, he did not even give us a signal at all. Anyway, that was amazing. Thank you very much for the section. And trust me, I was seated there. I wanted to learn. I wanted to join in the learning section. So thank you very much. Do we have questions? I can get a signal for one person, 2. Okay, any other person? Same goes for the people online. Please help me notify them. I just left the Zoom meeting. Help me notify them so I could give numbers to people who have questions online. If possible, let me see the chat. Let me go through the chat. All right, so before that comes up, so we don't waste too much time, the first person can ask you a question now.
All right, thank you very much for this session. It has been enlightening. Okay, my question is that, does it mean that any decentralized app at all is a smart contract?
So decentralized contracts, decentralized exchanges, right? Smart contracts are the one that carries out transactions, activities on it, right? It's more or less like code is the one doing everything. Do you understand? Yeah. Did you answer your question? Yes, decentralized apps are built with smart contracts. Yes.
Okay, concerning peer-to-peer network, you said something about transferring your funds to this seller as you want to buy. Is there a tendency that you can transfer your funds and not receive currency from the person, even after reporting?
Yes, so there's a tendency that you send your funds and the person would not send you back. That if the person is a scam, all right? So I think some of these exchanges are trying to upgrade the security, whereby in the sense whereby if you are selling your USDT, now if the seller has not sent the money, because if the seller has sent the money, they will ask you to confirm if you have received the money, right? So, but if you have not received the money, you can tell them you have not received the money. So that USDT that you want to sell to the person has not gotten to the person, right? It's still with, I use Binance for my P2P, so it's still Binance, right? So once you click yes, you received it, then Binance will release it to the other person. But in the case where you are the one selling, right? So in the case where you are the one buying, all right, you would have to send money first to the person, right? And click on paid. So a notification will be sent to the seller that you have paid. The seller would confirm in his bank account or whatsoever that you have paid and then release the coin to you, right? But if the person is a scammer, in the sense where you want to buy the coin, you might have sent the money and the person will not want to release it. So there is also a way to prevent that, right? So you don't want to trade with somebody who has not done over 3,000 to 5,000 transactions previously, right? And also you don't want to trade with someone who does not have a rate of 80 to 90% ratings, right? So which means people who have transacted with him have actually appreciated his service. That's why he's having that 80 to 98% rating. And also, if he has done over 3,000 transactions, it shows his experience and he has always been, delivering, right? So that is how to be able to mitigate, just to mitigate the risk of not losing your fund or falling to the hands of scammers. Yeah.
There are some scammers, they can actually manipulate that 3,000 transactions and also ratings.
So I've not encountered that. I don't think they can, right? Yeah. Most of the others, like sometimes you see the trending rate, like day before yesterday, I performed the transaction. The rate was not yesterday, I mean last week. The rate was 584. Then I clicked the first ad. When I clicked the first ad, then I clicked all. That is already I've transferred the funds I want to sell, the USD I want to sell to funding, that is P2P. Then I clicked all. Then I wanted to tap on sell. Then I noticed the change at the top. The rate has changed from 584 to 572. So what they do basically, they will increase the rate to beat every other person in the order, in the same order, to be at the top. So if you're not watchful and cautious, you click on it and they always add their Binance, they change it. Immediately they change it, they will change it back because they know that people will actually click on their ad. So if you're not watchful, you will fall for it. I think my friend has done what he did when he fell a victim. He had to place another buy order with the same person, now with a normal ad, with normal rates. Then he told him that he has to release his first order for him to cancel the two. So he has two orders. Now ask him to, there is approve one so he can cancel the other one. Thank you.
I think Metro, according to that, most times is when they use floating price, most times they are not actually the cause of the fluctuation of that price. You can place an order, and if you use floating price, when the market changes a bit, the price of the order will change automatically. You are not the one changing it. Well, so people have a way of manipulating the price, but most times it's also is normal when they use floating price instead of a fixed price. So I don't think most of them are scams.
So the fact is just that the possibilities are there. Do you understand? The possibilities are there. So what I've just said is for you to mitigate against the risk of falling into scams, right? Mitigating doesn't mean it has eradicated, it has only reduced the possibilities, right? Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think we have a question here, and it happens to be a question like most people who are probably new into the space always ask. So the question goes, how do one know the best time to enter into a trade considering the volatility in crypto rather?
Yeah, so there is actually no best time, right? Okay, but you need to understand market structure in order to be able to know when to enter into a trade. Market structure in the sense that what is the market doing at present? All right. Market structure, is the market on a bullish momentum or is the market on a bearish momentum? Now, if the market has been in a bearish momentum, is the market at a recovery process, right? That will determine if you can enter the market or not. When BTC was around $10,000, I knew about it, but I was not a believer in BTC because I trade Forex then. If them you are trading BTC, I just count as a serious person. I knew when BTC was 10K, right? Now, within a short period, BTC got to 20K. Now, it was almost looking like it was at the top already. That's not the best time to buy, right? From that 20K, it went to 30K. It was the best time for someone else. The thing is, you cannot time the market. Do you understand? You cannot time the market. The only thing you can do is to time yourself. You cannot control the market. That's why schemes that says, bring in your money, we trade for you, we give you 30%. And is it your father that is in control of the market? No. You're saying now, because you can't control the market. It's a leverage market. So there is nobody can say this is the best time to buy or not. Professionals will tell you, buy BTC now. It's going to 10K. How many of you had 100K? How many of you had that prophecy last year? That by December it will be 100K. Where are we? Where are we? We are 43. 43 was almost the same amount it was at the beginning of 2021. So I'm talking about. So nobody can time the market. Nobody can determine when the market can go. You cannot control the market. You can control yourself. You get how much are you willing to lose? You get how much are you willing to mitigate your risk? At what percentage can you pull the plug and say, I'm not doing it again? Let me go and use the many money to eat. Do you understand? Before crypto force you to fast. That is it. Crypto will force you to fast. So you have to understand the risk. Thank you very much.
This happens to be very said he can't control the market, but he has to control it, and that is the truth. That is it. So thank you very much, Mr. TUNMISE, aka Apostle of Finance. Thank you so much for the section. And thank you, everybody. I hope we had a swell time together. We had, right? All right, so a round of applause for him. And okay, so next, we're going to be doing something really, really cool. Like, this is going to be like our support for everything that has been done to put this together. I mean, it's no beans. It's no beans. It's more, like it has been, plenty work has been done. Plenty work has gone into this to make sure the more is this sweet. So we're going to be doing this to appreciate FinSmart, to appreciate Yali Edo, right? And also to appreciate the Benin City Benin City Windows on America. All right, so let's quickly go. What we're going to be doing majorly is to follow their social media accounts, right? I know we snapped a lot of pictures, and to bring us back was the thing, right? So now is the time for us to show some show love, like show us love. When I say us, all of us involved. All right, so quickly go to, let's start with YouTube. Go to YouTube. You were saying something about learning other things about DeFi, right? Centralized finance and all of that. So you can quickly go to FinSmart community. Let's do it now. If everybody does this, I'm good to go. If every one of us does this now, let's go. We are going to be seeing everything we're going to be in live. Like it's not going to be anything. So we are seeing the numbers here. We're going to be affecting it, right? So let's quickly do that. Are we all on YouTube now? Okay, so quickly subscribe. Quickly do the subscription on YouTube. Please also bring the Twitter account out so that we can follow the Twitter account. I just did now. Okay, so the Twitter account is at FinSmartCommune, at FinSmartCommune. I think one of the very active social accounts or social media accounts of the community is on Telegram. How many of us are on the Telegram channel? Okay. It's a fair number. So you can actually join on Telegram. Trust me, it's always a fun time. Like I usually don't have all the time, but the few times I have, I go on Telegram channel to listen to every of the sections that are being held there. Usually he has that, I think, at 7 p.m. most evenings to teach one or two things about cryptocurrency, about blockchain technology, DeFi, and all of that. So you can do well to join the community on Telegram. Okay. Okay, so we have 216. That's we have 5 people. Let's go to the Twitter account. So we're not just following alone. No, we are going to we snapped pictures. No, we are going to snap. But if you still want to snap picture, you're free. We snap pictures. So just tag them with the pictures that you snapped. And please, this is not just brought to you by only FinSmart community. The Yali Edo, right? You can follow them. I think it's Yali Edo. Who's going to? Mr. President, please help us with. Okay. All right. So let's do well to follow this account so that you get updates. Okay. So it's at Yali Network Edo on Twitter. Yali Network. Have we done that? Have we done that? Response. Have we done that? We're all is this a hard work? All right. Please give me feedback. Are we on the same page? We're on the same page. Thank you. All right. Okay, so the next will be the Benin City Windows on America. Please, who is going to help us with the social media accounts, if there is? Who is helping us? Okay, so the hashtags that we're going to be using to make the posts, right? We're doing that right away. We spent a lot of time. We're past. Okay, we're using hashtag FinSmart community. We're using hashtag blockchain. So you could choose any that resonates with you. We have blockchain technology, DeFi, hashtag decentralized finance, hashtag Windows on America and Glass House, Yali Edo Network. So we can do all of those hashtags, as many as possible. On Twitter, Okay, so now life. How many of us have learned one or two things today? I know we've learned one or two things today. Can you come out and share with us, especially the last two sections that we had? The one on leadership and then this very last section, what you learned. Let's get some punchlines. Some things that stood out for you in the last two sections. Do you want to volunteer or I should call? You want to volunteer, I should call. Okay, I'm going to call because I know volunteering will be a thing. All right. Okay, so I'm right in front of you. Yeah, good afternoon. All right. So I know you learned today, right? You learned a lot today. So what was one thing that resonates very well with you from today's section? Whether from the leadership section or from the cryptocurrency section, any?
All right. My name is Kingsley Nebo. Let me start off with the leadership session. I think I learned a thing or two about myself as a leader. I think you mentioned a couple of things on the slides about me as an individual and as a leader. So that stood out for me. And then the sessions on DeFi and cryptocurrency wallets. As the last speaker, I was also attentive to the last speaker because I was, no, not that, I was actually attending to something. So the speaker on DeFi literally mentioned some couple of things I didn't quite understand in depth. As much as he did talk about them today, I would want to do more research on them, particularly the liquidity, the calculation behind the liquidity, the type of liquidity pool he mentioned or he talked about. So I think that's something because I've been farm yielding and doing stuff around DeFi, but I never really I was just into it for what I could get, right? So I think it's high time I really go in depth on knowing how exactly these liquidity pools and calculations are done and all of those. And he also mentioned about arbitrage on DeFi. It's something I also want to really take my time to do more findings on, and those were some of the key points I took very seriously. Thank you.
A round of applause. Thank you very much. I mean, it shows you learned a lot. And one of the most important things to also take note is that we can't all learn everything here, right? It's just like the truth is we can only get that little idea on what it is. But as he said, and which is very outstanding, you have to go back to the drawing board and do your own research on some of the things that have been mentioned. That is why the FinSmart community is actually there for you to learn more of those things. So thank you very much. Any other person, anybody who, okay, I wanted to ask you a question, but let me free you small. I can ask you a bit, okay, all right, that's amazing. Okay, so what do you think your temperament is of that? Oh, she's excited, she's going to give me one too. So what do you think your temperament is? What was mentioned? Some of those, what did it shock you? You did not expect it. If you don't know the temperament, you can say a couple of things that you think. I know definitely when we're saying anything, one or two things resonated with you that, oh, this looks like me. We could help you out. Hot tempered. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. I think it's choleric, right? Okay. So who else? Who did I resonate with again? Who now? Yeah, choleric. Okay, so for you, what temperament do you think? It's not there, it's not. Interesting. She said her is a combination. Okay, usually it's been said that you have at least two of those combinations on a high side, like predominantly two of those, like on the top. Sometimes you can get to have others attached to it, but that's that. Okay. So who else wants to give us what you learned today?
Okay, so I really appreciated the DeFi part, and then
So next, please go to this for your attendance. I know some of us feel our attendance, but we help us have a discussion, right? Are we going there now? Especially if you do not go there to the table, please. I know probably a smart person, you don't want to just always like that. Yeah, help us. Yeah. Is it a survey? No, I think it's just an attendance. It's not a survey. All right. Okay, so how many of us have tagged the pictures that we took on Twitter? I mean, let's create one on Twitter account for this event, right? So are we confident we're going to do that, or are we doing that now? Because we are going to do 1 million.
it's actually a survey.
It's a survey, right?
Okay, so it's just
Okay, so if you fill the survey form, not attendance, is that a survey? Which guy did it? Let me go on myself. It's an attendance, right? Okay, please. Okay, so if you want to still continue with your learning on the community, please follow the community. He said it sounds like he has something to stop for us, something massive for us. Please take it. Actually put you through there. Right? So just that's the reason that I did it. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of our section for today, and for the whole 2 days training. Thank you very much for coming. We truly appreciate your presence here, and we want to thank FinSmart community. We want to thank Yali Edo. We want to thank the Benin City Windows of America for this sector. Okay, well, we have a giveaway. Somebody wants something.
there was giveaway yesterday. You were asked to do a task, take a picture, tag Twitter, the necessary account, and the person with the highest like is Caleb. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but it's something Caleb. Yeah. So welcome. Correct. Congratulations. You see me outside for your
Okay, all right, camera. But this thing is working now. It was you. I know. It was you. Don't worry. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. All right. So I think final. In 1 minute, we'll have a vote of thanks. We'll have the vote of thanks, and then you can go snap pictures, do anything, connect with people.
Okay. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to the success of this event. I want to say a big thank you to the president of Yali, Edo. You know him, right? Okay, he was all taught on leadership. Also, a big thank you to the Benin City Windows on America. So you don't just want to leave this place. You are free to come here to inquire about anything America. Am I wrong? So anything, full scholarship, fully funded program, conferences, this is always open. You can also come here, probably you want to work, you want to lead, this place can come here, there's a workspace here, these are facilities that are made available by the US Consul in Lagos, and these are, up-to-date materials for some of us who want to write IELTS, GRE, a lot of stuff like that. And when you come here, you can sign up with there's e-library, right? And I've accessed the e-library. Tell me what you want, what you are looking for. You find it in the e-library. Stuffs you would pay for, Financial Times, the New York Times, those newspapers, those reports and stuff like that. You find them on the e-library, and it is free to access, right? However, you have to come here to Metro is into arbitrage. So we have some of us who are not here. Also, I try with our also a community manager on the community manager on the platform, helping with updates and things like that. And as you can see, we have resources. We are working on them day in, day out. We are putting our best on how to push out crypto education. There is always one question people used to ask me: why are you doing this? Like, why? You did not start today, right? Even in Uniben, I founded in 2018. I founded an investment society on campus, investment consortium. She's a member of the investment consortium, and we held conferences in Uniben. In 2019, one of the largest conferences in Uniben. It was just free, right? So what's my why? My why is that I just want to share investment knowledge. All right. So when stocks was really there, I was an ambassador for Africa. I was an ambassador for True Finance. I don't know True Finance, where you can buy international stocks. Like I was an ambassador for Piggy Best. So my why is just that I want everyone to be financially independent.
That's where the word comes from. Think smart. So when you join Think Smart community, you're not going to be getting click on this boat, go for this investment package, nothing like that. We give you education, knowledge, and information and resources that will help you to make better decisions. All right. So thank you very much once more. If you want to grow in crypto, right, stay in crypto community. That is it. So when you stay in crypto community, you grow more faster. All right. And let me just boost your morale. Like you can get crypto jobs. Crypto jobs are not small jobs, so right. Crypto jobs will pay you a lot. He's working with what is it called? Perpetual protocol. That's a millionaire right there. So I've worked with several crypto organizations. I've worked with CoinRule in the US, I've done in UK as a full-time trade support analyst. And as of yesterday, I got a full-time offer also with CoinMara. You know, CoinMara is a project backed by FTX, Coinbase, another Silicon Valley venture capital. All right. So when you get into crypto, it's not only let me buy crypto. Hunger will kill you. But you must have a cash flow. You must have a what? And all this knowledge that you are looking for. Like now, I want to congratulate you because you are early adopters of cryptocurrency. Early what? So the moment you are able to tell me what stake is, what liquidity is, what Bitcoin is, what DeFi is, you know, what centralized exchange is, what centralized exchange is, and you can tell me the difference, you can pass the knowledge out, right? You are good for a customer support. You are good for community management, right? An average community manager is paid $1,000. And I'm looking at average, like somebody entry level, $1,000. You're collecting $1,000 per month in Nigeria. Are you not good? You are good. You understand now? You know, and some of which most international firms will pay you $3,000, $5,000. All right, for community management. That's just I'm talking about the list. Okay, so these are things that you will see, opportunities you will see in the crypto market, and you don't have to write a line of code to do that. You can create content for crypto. So if you want to get a crypto job, you have to work on your LinkedIn, because of course I got the job on LinkedIn. Just they came to me via my LinkedIn. Are you open to this? And I looked at it. I said, okay, I'm open to it. And then before you know, so LinkedIn is very powerful. So basically, we talk down on LinkedIn. They'll say, oh, LinkedIn, they go there to pretend. It's a lie. Don't follow them. I've been using LinkedIn now. One of the best and greatest minds I've connected with, right? I've been on LinkedIn. And I've connected with the highs and lows in the crypto market. It is via LinkedIn, right? Via LinkedIn. Powerful people. When you go on LinkedIn, when you talk to people, there are 70% chances you will get a feedback. You get, if a person did not reply you, if it's an influencer or a top person, it's just because they are busy. Probably their DMs are full. Okay, you always get a reply. So you want to push out crypto content there. Probably it doesn't just end there. The 2 days training doesn't make you a guru. Do you understand now? It has only stirred up a fire in you, stirred up a passion in you to go ahead, to study more, to research more. And the best way to learn is to share. When you share, you learn twice. As I shared about DeFi, whatever, I have to share about smart contracts, we've known it twice. All right. When we talk about it most often, it becomes inbuilt in us. Okay. So that's how it happens. So you have to share this knowledge. As you keep learning it, you go on your Twitter page. Might not be 2 trends, just right. And then you post it. Oh, what is taking? Let me tell you what's taking, what I learned with this smart this thing. You might not be doing it. Somebody will reach out to you because the space is still very small. Almost 0.5% of the entire population in the world knows about blockchain. So the reason why you are aware about cryptocurrency is because somebody close to you is aware about it. It will be surprising to you that your colleagues who are not even doing that after doing that thing, because they don't even know about it. Right? So it's a great opportunity. Take advantage of it. Go and learn more and go and research more, and also share social media. You get opportunities. Follow FinSmart on Twitter Space, on our Telegram channel. We do a lot of stuff. Also on our YouTube channel, we'll be releasing fresh hot videos, you know, possibly on concepts in crypto, like staking, practical, let's take practical classes on yield farming. We did one practical class on yield farming where we used, what platform do we use again? For both Luna Terra Station and what's the name of that? Yes, TNS. Yeah, it's Anchor protocol. We linked our Terra station to Anchor protocol and we're farming on Anchor protocol. So these are practical ways we're going to be doing those practicals there, so you can always see them, right? Also concepts, understanding concepts in a relatable manner. All right, so let me start another lecture. Thank you very much. And God bless you. Okay, really quick now. If you have the skills required to work in blockchain in crypto space, now there are a few skills though. In fact, many. The data analyst, data scientist, community manager, the blockchain developer. Just go and research on that. There are some sites you can use actually. There are some sites you can use. CryptoJobList.com. That's more like the top site where you can get jobs in the crypto space. Then crypto.jobs. CryptoJobsList.com. Crypto.jobs. Cryptocurrencyjobs.co. Blocktrack.com. Crypto-job.com. You're on Telegram group, so I will share it on Telegram first. But the main one is just cryptojobslist.com. Let me see one that I can see there.